What is going on, everybody? We are live with Comic Talk, episode number 34. What is up? And hey, listen, before we begin the show, I want to do a quick shout out to Eddie, the comic guy. You guys don't know, he did this awesome Harley Quinn, original sketch, print, commission. Dude, you know me, I love the Harley Quinns and stuff, and he was just nice enough to do this for me, man. And if you have not done an original sketch yet by Eddie the comic guy, then you guys make sure you get on that train before you miss it, because when he gets rich and famous and popular and everything, I can say that I actually got one. So Eddie the comic guy, thank you so much, brother. We really appreciate that. Hey, listen, we are kind of running a little late today, as you guys notice. Nevertheless, we still have other people that are supposed to be coming on the show. They're running a little late as well. Our special guest for tonight, Jeff West, he's actually running a little late too. So until he actually shows up, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce everybody here, and we'll talk a little bit about comics. We'll talk about a few things that just came up for this week today. And first of all, I'd like to go ahead and introduce my boy, your boy, our boy, the mayor, man, the myth, the legend. I'd like to introduce our mayor. What is up, brother?
Hey, guys. What's going on, man? Good to be on the show. Man, look, San Diego Comic-Con going on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get the show started.
Awesome, Jeff. Mr. Marky Mark and the motherfucking bunch. Marky. That's my new ringtone for you. Marky Mark. Marky Mark 316. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Holy crap. What a week. It is friggin' hot. A lot of news, a lot of cool stuff, and you know I got a big old smile. Oh, let me get a drink of water here. Oh. I wish I could slam this down right now. Anyway, let's do this!
Let's do this, brother. Always great to have you, as always. Hey, we've got a birthday boy with us tonight. I mean, he is a busy man, but he actually took time to come up on here, and he wants to say hi to everybody. He wants to come on. He just turned, what, 25, is it, TiVo, today? 25. Hey, welcome to the show again, brother.
Thank you. Well, 25 is close.
No,
it's more closer to 35, but you know, I can't give you my age of the secrets. It's like I own the Eye of Agamotto that keeps me young. Also, I suck the blood off of newbie comic collectors, and that's what keeps me young and refreshing. You know what I mean? So come with it, come correct, or don't come at all.
I love it.
Thanks for having
me. All right, he popped out, but now he just popped back in. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend, your friend, we got with us Alex from Well Comics. What's going on? Say hi, Alex.
Thank you. Hi. Yeah, I just gotta drop out here, but it's okay. I'm back. Thank you, guys.
Well, welcome all the way from Canada, French Canada, right, Alex?
More English Canada here in.
More English.
Yes. We have here in the city. We have a large French community. But there's more English. It's in Ontario here.
Sure, bro.
Are you Brazilian?
He is Brazilian.
Yes.
Obrigado.
Oh, de nada.
It's Portuguese. Hey, my co-host, brother from another mother, man who always takes care of me no matter what, man. I want to introduce you to my boy, your boy, our boy, everybody's boy. We got with us Ray Jr. What is going on, my brother?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Just getting settled in down here in El Paso. It's real hot, about like 118 type hot, but I'm just ready to be on the show. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening this week, and can't wait to talk about it.
Awesome, brother. Great to have you as always. On our favorite show, Comic Talk. You guys remember that jingle, right? The original jingle for Comic Talk, and we're all supposed to be doing that at the same time, but we'll practice that another time. Hey, our special guest tonight, if you guys don't know, is a wonderful artist by the name of Jeff West. And as soon as he gets in, I'll have my boy Ray, since he was the one that actually went out, networked with him, talked to him a little bit about different things, and asked him to come on the show. So our wonderful guest today is via my boy Ray Jr. So he's going to be the one that introduced him because he's talked to him in the past, as I mentioned. But hey, what is going on this week, guys? Guys, we had San Diego Comic-Con. We had a whole bunch of trailers come out, a whole bunch of different variants of beautiful books. Talk to me, Tim. What is big on your list right now?
Well, obviously, us being the redheaded stepchildren that didn't get to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and if you're on social media, it's that weekend that you're just like, fuck, I gotta see everybody post the cool shit that I can't see. But, different from like 10 years ago, there's a lot of stuff that streams online that you can read. Articles are instantaneous. If you're on Twitter, the news drops immediately. You can see it immediately. So, obviously, Marvel and DC flex their muscles at, Hall H once again. And we finally got to see the trailers for Justice League, Wonder Woman, Doctor Strange. I believe, hell, Marvel even pulled out Kurt Russell, introduced him. He's going to be Ego. I don't know if he's a living planet. Obviously, that would look silly, a giant planet talking and shit. But he walks out of a spaceship that looks like a planet. Spider-Man news came out. I'm sure we'll talk all about this. But I think this year was a loaded San Diego Comic-Con as far as movie news. It just happens to be that 2017 and the rest of 2016 is a very busy year for movie properties. We haven't even talked about the TV shows yet. They had a lot of Flash stuff. Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes coming out. I speculated about this
Tim,
a week or two ago.
Let me ask you about this, man. This is the first time since I've been, involved with the YouTube community and getting to know everybody within the comic book community on YouTube and outside of that, has San Diego Comic-Con, with all the social networks, social medias we got nowadays, have they always pushed out such big information like this, or is this the first time you've seen something like this?
It's every year has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why it's more crowded and crowded and crowded. There used to never be a lottery to get tickets. They used to scout the shit out of them. Nowadays it's almost impossible to scout. The only way to get a badge if you don't get in the lottery is my buddy KRS Comics, Marky knows him. He offered a retailer badge because he had access to a retailer badge. So if you know somebody has a booth, that's the best way to get it. Just get the badge and get in and out. But it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. When I went last year, it was like overload. It was the Funko Pop booth was gigantic. It just shows you how they're taking over. But Marvel and DC have a big thing, but then it's like all the Hasbro stuff. To be honest with you, comic books are kind of hard to find there. The booths are short. I'm pretty sure when you guys go to cons in Texas or even here in WonderCon or Long Beach or Kamikaze, there's a lot more comic books. And now it's more like pop culture entertainment because the con is so big that outside of San Diego they have they have panels because San Diego can't accommodate them all. So you got stuff going on outside of San Diego. So if you go, the Gas Lamp is a area where all the bars and restaurants right outside the convention is. Man, every one of those is packed for food, drinks, and then every one of them has an after party too. So literally, it's all over the place. I won't go every year. I may go every 2 or 3 years. But like I tell everybody, especially if you're not from the West Coast, make it a bucket list thing to do. But it's getting. Every year you think it can't get any bigger, and it just seems to get bigger. And as social media, and because every major news outlet covers it now, all these websites, so they're all there, and that's why it's cool. I was posting links to where you can see streaming information, and now everybody streams it. Marvel streams it. I don't know if DC does, but EW is there. What's that? IGN is there. Here's do you guys remember? What was it? IGTV or whatever? Remember, it started as a video game network.
Yep, I remember that.
Where Chris Hardwick and those other guys, they started on that channel. They were the ones that used to have 5-day coverage of it, right? No other channel has it. Now Sci-Fi channels does a thing on TV, and so does Spike TV. But all their stuff isn't live. They posted a few days afterward, after they edit everything down. But before that, it used to be, I think it's G4 TV, right? That's what it was called.
Yeah, G4 used to do
it. Attack of the Shows, with Olivia.
Yeah, and that was our only our source on TV, but now it's it's geek is chic and it's mainstream, and what it sucks for us who are the true comic geeks is we're getting pushed off to the fringes, if that makes sense. If you go to the con, the comic books aren't front and center. They're all off to the side. You know what I mean? You have to go and look
Yeah.
for it. Where normal cons, you go there's comic books everywhere. But now we're being pushed off to the fringe, which is a really kind of gigantically ironic because it is called Comic-Con still, right?
Mhm. And
But,
I was told to
hey,
expect that as well. I was told to expect that if you're going to go to San Diego Comic-Con, don't expect to see a lot of comic books there. Expect to have a lot of pop culture things, have a lot of everything else but comic books. And so if you're going to go just for the comic books, it's probably not the convention to go to.
no. Well, like you saw with James posting, I mean, Artist Row is the place to go because if you can't buy comic books, go get original art, go get sketches, go get signatures and everything. I mean, that's because Artist Row is just full of tons of people. But on the flip side of that is it costs them a premium to get a booth or anything in Artist Row, so you're going to be paying to make up for that. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense, and I can see that. I can't imagine what a lot of these artists would be charging for an original sketch and original commission, And some of the things that I've seen posted they look really great, but some of these things that I've seen posted as far as original sketch, I wouldn't pay $2 for. You know what I mean? I'm just like, really? He drew that? I mean, it's no freaking way. I could do better than that, But to me, I was really really surprised, and I don't know about you guys, but were you guys expecting so many trailers of the upcoming movies and TV shows that they presented? Was that a norm, or is it just something that they decided to shoot out because of San Diego Comic-Con?
I honestly think that that they were going to definitely show a Wonder Woman trailer and definitely show a Doctor Strange trailer. That was a given. I did not expect a Justice League trailer. And with the shows, they always do it every year with the shows because that's their main thing. They always have all the CW shows and comic book shows and everything else like that there. So I kind of expected that. But yeah, there was a lot of trailers and a lot of surprises so far. But
it's all scheduling.
Was a surprise, though?
I mean, if they put it this way, they don't film around San Diego Comic-Con. They don't mark it on their calendar. Hollywood studios are just like, it's an added bonus if we just happen to be in the middle of filming or further along in the process to where we can bring footage, because they showed footage of Guardians of the Galaxy and they showed footage of another Marvel, but they don't make it. Yeah, they don't make it readily consumable for the for the masses because it's not finished, and they don't want people to be critical of seeing things that aren't finished with the special effects and everything, right? So they allow the people in Hall H to see it, and that's why that's one of the cool things about going is you see a lot of shit that nobody will ever see. They will never ever release it. They will never ever release it on the internet.
yeah,
that's one of the.
I also think it's because
Hangout sem ser pelo Facebook.
what happened last year is because when the Suicide Squad trailer showed in Hall H, it got leaked all over, and there were bootleg copies all over, and then they said, fuck it, we're just going to put it out. And I think DC and Warner Brothers just said, fuck it, we're just putting it all out because you guys are going to just fucking throw it up there, so why not just throw it up there and everything like that. And I'm hearing something in the background. Is that
Yeah, there's a little bit of feedback in the background, so what do you guys are...
I'm going to mute. It ain't me. I got nothing on here.
I think it might have been Alex.
Yeah, Alex,
So
if you got...
you think DC
I don't have right now the image, but I'm not sure if you can listen to me.
Yeah, there was definitely a sound of a sexy Portuguese woman's voice in the background. Trust me, it ain't me, brother. I'm all here by myself. It's
That's got to be Chris. Hopefully Brian Paluto is contacting her to do a Lady Death.
I will tell you, man, with everything that's everybody's posted on that Comic Book Fanatics Facebook group with all the trailers going on, even James, he was posting a whole bunch of pictures and videos of what's going on at the Comic-Con and everything like that. I thought it was just amazing. I thought it was wonderful to be able to see something like that. And just like what you were saying, Tim, we would only see something like that through the old TV shows like the G-Force, Attack of the Shows, and things. But now it's such a big pop culture thing. It's so out there in social media and many different platforms that we can see a lot of things ahead of time. And this is the first year that I've actually seen something like that. I mean, you can go to other channels and watch videos of the San Diego Comic-Con interviews or cosplayers or things like that. That's well after the fact. But now I'm seeing stuff live or on real time as they're happening. So it's to me, I think it's amazing how this culture has developed into that. So and as you mentioned, it is chic to be geek, you know, and I definitely love it.
If we can get the Fanatics and Lords of the Round Table co-production together, we'll fucking invade Comic-Con with a camera crew, and we'll fuck shit up, man. We'll do it all, goddamn. I don't even care.
So
I might be kicked out of the first week for abuse of language. I don't know.
If you guys want to see Comic Book Fanatics and Lords of the Long Boxes or Round Table do San Diego Comic-Con, then we'll set up a GoFundMe account. That way we can get there, and we'll do an amazing live show for you guys from there.
And you know what, Marky, if they do that, then the New York Warriors, we got to do one for New York Comic-Con.
I know.
Hey, and set up a GoFundMe to get me
my bail, because I will be probably ejected a couple of times, especially.
Hey, set up a GoFundMe to get me to New York too, man. Hey, Marty, are you coming to Kamikaze with Ryan?
I talked to Ryan about that. And I don't know if I'm be able to. It all depends if I get accepted into this course come August. If I get accepted into this course, then I probably won't be coming into it. But if I don't, if it doesn't interfere with that, then yes, I definitely like to come to Kamikaze, because coming with him, it'll be like we'll be sharing a place together, so it'll cut a lot the cost on a lot of things. So it'd be nice if we could do it.
What we're already planning with the Ryan and the Big To Do and myself, and if you're there, we're going to do a pre-recorded sit-down episode of the show like we did in Mike's comic book store.
I remember that.
So we're going to do one of those after the show, because so this way we can get good production values and we can do it face to face instead of like the Google Hangout. But one more thing about San Diego Comic-Con is for all the listeners, watchers, and whatever the fuck you guys do when you're watching this show, is the Emergency Awesome on the YouTubes is a great channel to follow this time of year. He's actually a great channel to follow all times of the year because he gets great news, but he has full recordings of the entire Hall H presentations, sans the trailers, because they're not allowed to record the trailers, but he has all the interviews. So all day from Hall H, he'll have the entire Warner Brothers panel, he'll have the entire Marvel panel. If you look at last year and 2 years before that, and this year too, he'll probably post them up today toward the end, but he'll have the entire thing, so it actually feels like you're at the panel. It's awesome. Emergency Awesome is the name of the channel, so check out his channel. It's a great subscribe.
Yeah, I think we have just got to this point where we are just beginning on a lot of things, but we have so much potential to grow, not just channel Comic Book Fanatics, but to be able to interact with other channels like Lords of the Round Table, Lords of the Long Box, and just kind of collaborate, and we can just make this thing so much bigger than what it is with the help of everybody else. But hey, Ray, I think before we go on, man, I just want to say, hey, welcome, Edwin. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on the show, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It is good to be a geek, as Tim was saying. All the comic book stuff that's going on, really anxious to see what everybody has to say about all the new trailers and whatnot, so let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. And before we do that, Ray, would you be so kind enough to introduce our wonderful special guest? We got Jeff West with us today, so if you would, Ray, go ahead and do that, and I'll give it a clap.
Okay, everybody, as you see, Jeff so graciously was able to come on out of his busy schedule to come on Comic Talk. But I met Jeff at the amazing Las Vegas Con, and he did a couple of sketches for me. I know I showed it on Facebook, but just in case you haven't seen it, here's X-23, and then everybody knows I love me some Thor, so that's what he did for me, and he's working on something for me and my wife. But as you all know, Jeff has a great bio. Special visual effects artist, worked on Power Rangers television TV shows, Smallville, Malcolm in the Middle, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Weird Science, Friends, Twilight Zone. List goes on and on. So without further delay, I'm gonna go ahead and let Jeff, go ahead and speak his piece on what he's about.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on.
I'm going to put my old man glasses on so I can see everybody a little better.
You guys see that? I did the applause just out of nowhere, man. Jeff, hey, Jeff, welcome to the show, man. Ray talks so many wonderful things about you, man. So thank you for coming on, and we appreciate you, gracing us with your presence. And if you don't mind, I'm sure there's going to be people with questions for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about San Diego Comic-Con, all these trailers that came out, a lot of just things that are happening this week, and anything you want to share with us as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into drawing, and a little bit about your background, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll try not to be too lengthy, but I've just been drawing since I was a little kid, and doing characters, and I used to draw Superman, Hulk, and Jaws all the time when I was a kid at restaurants. My dad was a preacher, so I would draw during church. I'd practice all the time. My dad would be up there, and I'd be sketching all the time. So I had lots of time to practice, and I learned how to do caricatures. I was in high school, eighth or ninth grade, and I went to an amusement park in Texas, Six Flags, and I watched a caricature artist do it for a couple hours, and I just started practicing on my own and got it down. And by my junior year in high school, I was actually making money doing caricatures, so that was kind of fun. And I still do caricatures now. I'm doing all these shows, these comic conventions, which is really fun. And but then from there, I went to college, and I didn't really. I went into art, but it was so. I should have went to an art school. I really regret not going to an art school. I just went to a liberal arts college, Point Loma, San Diego, and I had a great time. But the art was just like high school art all over again. I really didn't learn as much as I would have liked to. So I went into T-shirt designs right out of college, and I did that for a few years. And then I met this dude that saw my portfolio, and he was working on the Power Rangers. And he said, "Man, your stuff's really good. You should come down and work with us." I'm like, "Well, what do you guys do?" We do the visual effects for Power Rangers and VR Troopers and all the Saban shows. So they brought me in. Based on my portfolio, they saw me and they were like, "When can you start?" So I got on the job trained, and I worked myself up to the lead artist on Power Rangers for about 4 seasons. And then I started working gradually on other shows that we had: Malcolm in the Middle, Smallville, Sabrina. And when I left that company, before I left that, I was doing some storyboards for different shows as well. And there's my caricature of Raymond. I was doing storyboards, and I happened to do just some preview storyboards for a producer friend of mine that was working on my favorite show at the time, which was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And just to show him kind of what I could do. And then I got an agent, and he called. I said, "I really want to work on Buffy. That's like my favorite show. If I could work on that, it'd be a dream come true." So he called the producer on the show, and he said, "I have this guy that I just started under my wing, and he really wants to work on Buffy." And he said, "What's his name?" He said, "Jeff West." And he goes, "Yeah, I have his storyboards framed on my wall." So it was just like crazy coincidence, cool thing. So I worked on Buffy almost the entire run. I think I started season 3, and then I worked till the end of Buffy, and I worked on Angel and a little bit on Firefly and Battlestar Galactica as well.
Are you talking about the TV shows, right?
I did visual effects. I was the lead special visual effects guy.
Tell me a little bit about something. What does the lead visual effects do on the TV shows like that, as far as your role and how that interacts with the TV show?
What was really cool is I got to do a lot of different things. I got to wear a lot of different hats. I got to do a little bit of creature design, some storyboards, and then I would get to actually design and create the visual effects. Every time you saw Willow do something, like especially when she turned to Dark Willow, she shot her electricity, her powers, all that energy stuff. I came up with all that, and I got to actually create that for the show, which was really fun. So I even got to kill Buffy in the Buffy death scene when she jumps into the big white ball. That was all me. So I got to do some really monumental, cool stuff, iconic moments, in the show, which was really awesome. But basically, they just give you some footage that they shoot on the set, and they tell you what they want. And do something cool. And a lot of times Joss Whedon would have some input for me and put in his word, and I would give him some. He'd love it, and we'd go from there and make it happen. So it was lots of fun. It was probably my favorite job of all.
Jeff, I would like to ask you something, if it's possible.
Sure.
But do you work on site? I mean, you need to be there, or they send to you the footage, and you work at home. You can work remotely. How did you explain?
Yeah, you can work remotely, but and I have since then. But yeah, when I was working on Buffy, Angel, and all those shows, I was there at the studio. It's called Zoic Studios in Culver City. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I worked for them for a long time. Really good people, and they just expanded so much. They got so many Emmys now from Battlestar Galactica and all the other shows they worked on. So, but yeah, I was on site a lot, long hours.
Yeah, I imagine.
Lots of fun. Got to go to the set.
Smallville was one of my favorite shows. So how were you? Yeah, how were you involved as far as some of the graphics in Smallville, if you don't mind me asking?
I didn't get to do. I did a couple effects on the early season 1 of Smallville, but I did some storyboards for the Bug Boy episode, which was like the second episode. And I didn't get to do much on it, but it got me enough to get a Smallville shirt out of it, and it was fun.
Go ahead, Jeff. I got a question for you.
I love Smallville, but if you can get past the first 3 to 4 seasons, and then it starts getting better after that, you know what I mean? It was too teeny bop-ish for me at the first, but once you got past that, as I mentioned, and it started getting a lot better. Go ahead, Tim. What were you saying?
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you. Because you said you do the storyboards. Are they done digitally, or are you still doing like comic panel storyboards? And also the second part of the question is, I grew up in the tech boom in Silicon Valley, so I remember I actually was doing some stuff with Silicon Graphics. Remember the old company that makes they used to do those high-end graphic computers that were like 20 grand each. So
yeah, that's what I used to work on.
Yeah, so the question is, as technology has evolved, hardware and software has gotten cheaper. So has that made but let's say like TV shows 15, 20 years ago when they did special effects, it cost an arm and a leg. Has production values have gotten better because the technology is more readily available? So even shows on YouTube can have higher end graphics. So now that you almost getting, I would say, low budget movie quality on the small screen.
Right. Yeah, it's changed a lot, and now I could do it at home on Adobe After Effects, is what a lot of these guys use now. And there's a program called Nuke that's really popular too. So I've been out of it for a while. The last thing I worked on was the Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I worked on a Combustion, which is I forget even who makes that now, but which is very similar to Adobe After Effects. So I could probably get back in if I wanted to go back to LA, but I'm good without LA. LA's nice to visit for me right now, but you never know. I'm always open to opportunities. But yeah, well, it's tough. They shut down a lot of studios because it's so much cheaper to farm out work to Canada and to Asia, so they can get work for pennies on the dollar over there compared to here. It's so much more expensive.
Isn't that how Josh Trank got found? He did that. He did his own little short for, I think, maybe a Coke commercial or something, or one of those. He was found on YouTube because he did his own effects and he directed it, and they gave him the Chronicle movie, and then they gave him the Fantastic Four movie, which we won't talk about. That's what you're talking about. Nowadays, guys can just sit in their home office, buy their computers, hone their craft, and then they can be found by these big studios, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. The technology is just getting easier and easier to create really cool stuff at home. It's amazing. And with our phones now, we can put out really quality footage,
Yeah, and here we are in a crappy Google Hangout, and everybody's got cool stuff.
Right. Well, everybody's got cool things going on, and we've got the YouTube Google Hangout thing going on.
Right.
So how does that? Anything major you're working on right now, Jeff?
Oh man, I'm working on so many projects. I don't know if you guys have a Harkins Theater where you guys are. Anybody? I think there's 5 or 6 states that have Harkins theaters, but they have this loyalty cup, and it's like a huge thing over here in Arizona. So I actually got that job, which is like a big deal. When you say it over here, like, you got the Harkins Cup, you know, it's like the big thing. But I'm working on, let me see, I have my list here. I'm working on 2 children's books. I'm doing a few album covers for some bands. All kinds of stuff. I'm doing some
Who are the
characters.
bands? Can you tell us who the bands are?
There's a one band called Saint Madness. They're like big, like a heavy metal band over here in Arizona, and then another one's called They're
Cool.
Card.
I like Christian rock.
How was it when you worked with DMX?
Oh, DMX! I didn't actually get to meet him, but I worked on his video. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my friend Trey has met him.
You know, reading your bio, Jeff, is very, very impressive bio on your website. But just a question that was brought up by one of our guys, Sean, and you know, do you mind elaborating a little bit more on your works of the Birds of Prey?
Oh, sure, that was really fun. I didn't get to do any visual effects, but I actually got to go for the pilot episode. I got to go to the set and do storyboards on the set with the actors. And I actually brought my my Polaroid, and Ashley was the girl that played the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. Was that who it was?
Oracle?
Huntress.
Oracle.
Huntress.
Oh,
Huntress,
yeah.
Who she was just gorgeous, and she let me take pictures of her, like her face for like with different expressions, and that was really awesome. And then I got to sit in the the Watchtower place where they do all their business.
Watchtower. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I was right. Okay. So then I got to sit in there with what's her name from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was there. Yeah, that played Sloane. You know, forget her name, but talked to her for a little bit. So it's great, like interacting with the cast and getting to be able to do that kind of stuff is phenomenal. You know, I got to go to a lot of the locations with the director and take some pictures so that I could use them in my storyboards just to make them a little more accurate and get it right for them. But that was really fun. It's too bad it didn't go longer.
You know what? I think Birds of Prey is a very underrated show. When it first came on, there was hardly any comic book properties on TV at the time. I really think it didn't come out. If it had came out in the last few years, it would have been a smashing success. If it came on the CW now, or you know what, it was just in a bad time slot. But I enjoyed it because it was one of the few. I can't even remember. Well, maybe Smallville was on at that time, or maybe
Smallville.
Or Clark Loves Lois, or Lois Loves Clark. One of those shows, but those weren't really. But Birds of Prey was pretty hardcore. I mean, every now and then you saw like Batman's cowl. You heard the Joker laugh, and I thought I really enjoyed it for its time. People knock it, but looking back, we didn't have anything else. Mutant X, maybe?
Yeah. I thought it was really cool, and I was going to be a part of a little bit of it, you know. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely too ahead of its time. You know, it came out at the wrong place and wrong time. If it, like, I agree 100%. If that came out now, just say that show how it is came out now, it'd be a big fucking hit. Especially
Geek wasn't chic yet. Yeah, Geek wasn't quite in back then. So
especially with the just such the big hype of Harley Quinn, and can you imagine what that show could do now, and with all the other characters? And
leave it up to Marty to drop in a Harley Quinn on a Birds of Prey show.
I like to mention Harley Quinn one more time, and thanks to Eddie the Comic Guy for allowing me to present this Harley Quinn original art sketch. And this show is brought to you by Blue Moon on the Harley Quinn glass. Okay, so guys, move on.
Okay, now that he got that out of his system.
So Jeff, when's the next con you going to?
I stole a Harley Quinn, just coincidence, and I got stolen a Harley Quinn that not stolen, just got very quickly. That I would like to show to you that also it's been done here for the patrons for Pinapology project. That's something that we have here. It's based on pin-ups and everything. But if not a problem, I can show you. It's not colored yet.
I think I know what it is. I think Chris actually sent me a picture of the Harley Quinn that you're talking about. But yes, please go ahead and show everybody. It's actually a really beautiful sketch.
Yeah. So what's the next con you're going to?
Oh, I'm going to the Toy Con August 4th through the 7th. And
That's
then
after that, right?
Yeah. I'll be there and then doing that, and then I'll be at the Palm Springs Comic Convention the end of August, and then the Salt Lake in Utah, the big one in September.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's really fun though. I mean, I usually work from like 6 to 2 in the morning for those 3 days in a row. You know, it's crazy.
Wow. Okay, guys, just that's the. I don't know if you can see.
Oh,
there.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that
just
is nice.
penciled for now. Yeah, it's gonna I guess receive some colors and everything. Yeah, that's
Wow.
yeah, we did. I mean, she did because the movie's coming, and we think that it's going to be going to be a good time to work on that. And well, let's see. If I can find here the link, I can send the link to you. You can see on your screens the digital version of it, and
Marty's
I can find here.
just went flying out of his pocket. That's all I know. I mean, you should expect it in T.56 seconds right now. Tell Chris the money's on its way.
I think it's also a good time to start drawing Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel.
Yes, yes. I told her about that. The A-Force team from Marvel. Oh, that's a good deal. I think she should draw all those girls there. But you know, I'm just the guy that tells the thing. That tells the thing. I'm not as skilled as she is.
Hey, look, I threw a word out. I threw a text out to Brian Paluto, who does Coffin Comics and Lady Death and all that, and I said, you should get Chris to do the friggin' covers, man. I mean, and he gave me a retweet. So I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, Chris is she's an amazing artist, and if you guys don't know who Chris was, if you watched a show a couple weeks ago, Crystal Lara was on her show, and she actually did a beautiful commission for me, and she sent me that picture about a week ago, and when I saw that, I was like, I gotta have that. You've got to send that to me, you know. Add some color and just go ahead and send it my way. But yeah, you're the man that influences her, Alex. So why not ask her to, you know, draw multiple female characters like she likes, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying.
So, hey, you know, not to get off topic or anything like that, but you know, Jeff, what do you think? Have you been tuning in as far as the San Diego Comic-Con and a lot of the TV and movie trailers and teasers that have been coming out? And what do you think?
I haven't seen a lot of the footage that's from the actual show because it just makes me so sad that I'm not there. I did catch. I caught the new Justice League trailer, which I am super excited about. And the Wonder Woman got me so excited that I actually got like, this is gonna be amazing. So yeah, I'm super hyped to start to work on some Wonder Woman prints for my next few cons too, because that trailer just blew me away.
And Jeff, I'm looking forward to. I'll be looking forward to a commission on a Wonder Woman print from you too, brother. Okay.
No problem.
Well, we'll talk after the show, man, and we'll work something out. But hey, guys, let's talk about that Justice League trailer. We had the Wonder Woman trailer come out. Let's just talk about those two right now. Expectations on those. What did you guys feel about them?
I think DC had no choice but to come hard because they're like so far behind Marvel that, you know, they took the backlash for the Batman vs Superman. So I think that was Zack Snyder saying, fuck it, I'm going to just go ahead and show this preview. That way everybody can get hyped about it. I think it's going to do excellent. I like, you know, how Batman was going around assembling the team. Like how Aquaman was drinking his Jack Daniels. And
oh, hell yeah.
And
He
I know
drinks
Mark
like
was
a
happy
fish.
with that, and then just watching the Wonder Woman trailer, I was like, holy shit, I cannot wait to see this. The way Magic Lasso was glowing and shit. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to pull a Marty and like to caveat on what Ray said. For those of you out there playing along, take a
I
drink.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate the caveat.
Take a drink if you're playing along at home. But what Ray said when he said Warner Brothers came hard with it, I would like to add a little rebuttal and say that Warner Brothers came light with it, meaning they showed some fun in these trailers, which was totally devoid in the Batman vs Superman trailers, right? We actually got to see some interaction between the characters, some actual conversations, some lightheartedness with the Flash talking with Batman, with Wonder Woman talking to Batman, with Wonder Woman talking to Steve Trevor. It made you like, oh, it's serious, and then it's like it gave you some light, airy moments. So now when you go back to the rumors that DC was, after the debacle of Batman vs Superman, whatever you thought of it, people were like saying, you know what, it had some light to it, and I think they took that to heed. Now, supposedly it started first with some rewrites in Suicide Squad, but you saw that, right? These trailers were fun, right? I mean, even like Batman telling Arthur Curry, hey, I heard you talk to Fish. So whoever doesn't know who Arthur Curry is, like the general movie-going audience, they're like, oh, he must be talking about Aquaman. Although he looks Samoan, that's got to be Aquaman, right? And so it's cool that these trailers, it's SummerCon, show some trailers, put all your apprehensions at bay, right? Because he came out. He was like the character on the CW. He's going to be the light-hearted one on the Justice League. The only knock I would say about it is Cyborg looked a little, I don't know, man. He looked maybe unfinished. Maybe they're going to add more special effects onto him, because when is it coming out? Next summer?
Yeah.
November 2022.
Oh, November 2000. Yeah. See, they have tons and tons of post-production stuff that they can put into it to make everything. But you know what? They knocked it out of the park. Everybody. I mean, Marvel only showed Doctor Strange, but I've already seen some of the panels where they brought everybody out. I mean, you got Kurt Russell, and then they're just like, oh, by the way, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther movie's not done, but he just happened to be in San Diego. We'll bring him on stage too. Oh, by the way, Brie Larson's going to be Captain Marvel. By the way, here's all these other characters. So, man, it was great. And I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you guys see the Kong trailer, Skull Island?
Yes.
Holy crap.
That's leading up to
awesome.
Godzilla versus Kong, too.
Yeah, that's their setup. That's their setup to have the big monster battle soon.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, what a lead up to such wonderful movies coming out. I mean, and it all starts from it takes us back to a lot of these superhero movies, and then what they're developing more and more are starting to come out right now. I mean, you got the wonderful special effects with Kong movies coming out. I mean, it's just amazing, guys, with what we're seeing. But I agree. I mean, the Justice League, man, I don't know, Tim. I think, he looked kind of, I don't know, if not complete in a bit, as if, I don't know, it seemed, in the comic book, it seemed more than the comic book. I don't know if he just seemed more, he didn't seem as much bigger,
Yeah, you don't want to go too much with a Terminator look with him. That's the whole thing. I mean, so they had to make something a little bit different. But to go back on the being funny and jokey and all that, yeah, I like a good joke too. But that seemed to me a little bit too funny. I mean, that's just me. And the music in the Batfilm sucked. I'm sorry. This is the Justice League, and you got White Stripes playing or whatever the frig that. Give me a friggin' break. That Wonder Woman trailer was 100 times better than the Justice League. Now, I know the Justice League was just a little snippet. Yeah, I know the Justice League was just a snippet and everything like what we got. But you know what? I don't mind a joke, but Batman shouldn't be telling the jokes. It should be the Flash. Give the lightheartedness to Flash. Keep Batman on a serious thing. Yeah, give him a little nod here. Like, I like the Arthur Curry thing. That was kind of funny. I like that kind of thing. The Flash and Batman talking, fine. But you know what? That music just did. I don't know. They pulled that out of their ass or somebody's fucking iPod. That was just a horrible choice of freaking music.
I think that's exactly what it was. I think somebody like, oh, you know what? We want to show these people.
Quick, get Henry Cavill's iPod. What is he listening to? Fine, just fucking plug that in.
Exactly.
Fucking
but
plug
you know
it.
what?
By the way, I'm going to stress this again, and I know he ain't showing up. Maybe he might show up at the end. For Christ's sake, can I have some information on a fucking Green Lantern already? I'm getting sick and tired of fucking arguing who's going to be Green Lantern. Everybody's going to be saying it's Jon Stewart. Everybody's going to see it's going to be Hal.
For those playing along at home, take a drink.
Yeah, they have to. I would say they would go with Hal Jordan if they're going to do anything first. They have to go with Hal Jordan because he has to come back based off what happened happened last time with the movie with Hal Jordan. He's
Wait,
definitely got to
but
come back.
I
But,
thought
you know-
I read a couple of weeks ago that Green Lantern is going to be on Green Arrow. That he's coming
but
into
that's
the TV universe.
That's going to be the TV universe. The same thing. We got two Flashes. We got a Flash on TV, and we got a Flash on
yeah.
the movie screen.
Yeah,
Now,
why can't you just
I'm
use the same-
ecstatic for it.
the same
Trust me, I'm
actor?
ecstatic for that.
But here's the
Here's a
I think
question for an Aquaman fan like you, Marky. To see Arthur Curry portrayed by a name like Arthur Curry. That's a white guy's name. You know what I mean? It's just as straight as white as they come. You know what I mean? Arthur Curry. And to see like a character
Steph
like
Curry, bro.
You know, so does that look okay for you? I mean,
I don't care. It's fucking Aquaman on the fucking screen.
And then when he drank the Jack Daniels, you must have creamed your pants, man, when you saw him drink.
That was fucking great. I wanted to imitate that fucking scene all day today, and I couldn't, man. I had no water. I had no Jack Daniels. I had to be out today, so it's just like.
You know what, Marky? DC did that for you.
I know, they
what?
did.
This
They
guy,
did.
Marky 316, we gotta hook him up.
That's right. All you fucking Namor fans, go
Marty,
suck.
Marty, but Aquaman, I mean, in the comics, isn't he he's half human, half Atlantean, right?
Yes,
that's correct.
So
yes.
Jason Momoa in real life is half, I believe, Hawaiian or Samoan and half Caucasian. So it actually, I mean, it's like you and I, brother, we're Hoppas, right? I mean, he's half Polynesian, Hawaiian, and half Caucasian. So I mean, it makes sense if he's a land dweller, and maybe all Atlanteans are really dark, and then he's got the kind of light complexion because his Curry, obviously, he's part human somewhere in the mythology. So I can see how that can work. I mean, there's going to be purists who only know the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aquaman, Sonar, talking to fish version Aquaman from the cartoons and everything that aren't going to be able to do it. The hardcore DC fans will know him from as soon as he got his arm chopped off a few years ago and he became a badass is when people are going to be like, oh, no, this is the Aquaman everybody knows now. So the hurdle that DC has, or Warner Brothers has, is how to make Aquaman relevant, right? Make him a badass so people want to go see the solo flick. Right. So, I mean, that's, and so far they're doing a good job. And part of it is Jason Momoa being on Game of Thrones. People know him as the badass there. You know what I mean? Like, if they were to cast, like, fucking Zachary Quinto as Aquaman, people wouldn't, believe it as much. But they see him as, Drago or whatever the hell on Game of Thrones. So you can kind of transition to that badass role already. It's kind of like throwing The Rock in a movie. He already looks the part. You know what I mean?
Right, and also it had to do with that Injustice game and everything like that, because Aquaman was a badass character to play on that friggin' game. So with the kind of armor thing that he's got, or the tattoos or he's got going, no, I'm cool with it. I don't care if he's Samoan. I don't care if he's anything. I just want to see the goddamn Justice League on the goddamn movie screen. So cast whoever you want to cast, and let's get the fucking thing done. Let's go.
You know what? With the stigma portrayed with Aquaman, I think getting an actor like that to be able to portray Aquaman, I think that's going to shed a new light to a lot of the young readers to be like, you know what, Aquaman, he's a badass mofo, you know what I mean? So how do you guys think, as far as Arthur Curry being portrayed by a half Samoan and half, what you're saying, Tim, with all tatted up and everything, compared to what we saw Arthur Curry in the past, good old white boy next door kind of a thing. Now with the rugged look, do you think that's going to change anything as far as a lot of the readers and how people look at Aquaman?
Here's the thing. What they need to do is put in a little segment. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Entourage. And he made there's an actual Aquaman movie, and they joked and they called him Aquafag on the show, right? And they're always making fun of him, and then it was like Aquaman was this big blockbuster film. I think in the film, with the Aquaman film, they should like show him killing that version of Aquaman, that was on there, because it's still an ongoing joke. He rides a seahorse, he talks to fish, and everything. Even in The Martian, the movie, do you guys remember The Martian? One of the outtake scenes, I think Matt Damon goes.
And the Big Bang Theory too. They make no one wants to do a cosplay of Aquaman because he sucks. That's what they said,
Well,
So,
I think that's why Warner Brothers went off the beaten path and not cast a blonde-haired, blue-eyed like if they would have cast Well, I was gonna say Brad Pitt, but I think Brad Pitt would have been badass too. I mean, imagine like the Fight Club version of Brad Pitt being Aquaman. I'll take
Sure,
that.
yeah.
Like any like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, all-American kid as Aquaman, they were like, no, let's get a tribal-looking dude like Atlantean. Nobody knows what an Atlantean looks like, right? I mean,
Right.
That's
where I think they're going with it. You know,
there will be
they
the
got
purists that will be pissed off still. Trust me. The ones that
First of all, the purists shouldn't be pissed off because if they read the new 52, that's kind of like the current Aquaman that we're dealing with in the comics now. All that other stuff, like you said, when his hand got chopped off, when he was wearing, he didn't have that many good stories and everything.
come on,
like
Marky.
that.
We're all in the Comic Book Fanatics Facebook page. Plug.
I don't know. Wait, guys.
If you want funny, you want him to throw a joke, like something like you said, like that. The best one they should do is the one they did in the new 52, is him sitting in a seafood restaurant and ordering seafood to eat. That was a nice little joke right there, and you
I
can
love
do that
seafood.
with that character. And I
What
thought that
I'm
was
saying is,
I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but while we're all up here talking about Aquaman and stuff, Jeff is taking notes. I'm going to do Wonder Woman, and I'm going to do sketches of Aquaman as well.
Guys,
I see you, Jeff. I see you.
just I'd like to share something. You were telling about Aquaman being a blonde and blue eyes guy. I think since I remember Aquaman, and I like Aquaman, he's like that. I don't have anything against just Jason Momoa. I think even it's an exotic presence. He's a good-looking guy, everything. But I've seen Conan with him, and also when he played on Bullet to the Head with Stallone. I think it was one of his last appearances in movies. I think that
Bullet in the Head. That was the name of the movie. It was a good fight
yes,
scene.
yes, he's the villain there. I think as an actor, he performs well. He performs as well, but I'm not sure if I would like to see him as an Aquaman. And I'm not telling you about his exotic visual, good looking. But for instance, Jeff, he worked for Smallville, and I liked the guy that worked as Aquaman. I guess in season 7 or 8 in Smallville. I think in terms of visual, the guy is perfect. Also, body, and I think that his performance was okay, and I don't know why, but maybe they could think about that actor again, and I think he did a great Aquaman. One of the best Aquaman, let's put it this way, that I've seen in television. I think it comes from Smallville, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys remember that, and if you agree somehow, but
I think Smallville was like the biggest cock teases ever for showing DC characters. Like I remember they would show it in a commercial, like, ooh, what are we gonna see? I'm like, oh man, we got a toenail, we got a helmet of a character, we got this and that. But you know what? I think we'll see. What you were saying about him aesthetically looking the part is like, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, just as he is. These are relatively young actors. And you brought up Conan. I can honestly say that was a pretty bad movie.
Yes, it was horrible.
It was bad.
Very horrible.
And even as Drago, I mean, he had very, very few lines. It was like when Arnold first started, and he would I mean, it's like hopefully he's been working on his acting chops.
He overacted, almost like that little kid in goddamn Phantom Menace, which acting was horrible. He just overacted. I mean, I
think for him playing. I think for him playing Conan, he just didn't fit the part for me. Yes,
he looked the part.
He looked the part, but he didn't play the part well at all. He didn't look big enough for me. When I see Conan, I think of a huge towering guy, almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe a lot more bigger. But to me, he just didn't fit the part. And I grew up reading Conan. And I read the comic books on the Marvel side growing up in the Savage Swords and Conan, barbarian sagas and stuff like that. and he just did not fit the role of Conan for me. And I'm not trying to say I'm a purist when it comes to that, but there's a bit of necessity when it comes to portraying that character and hoping for a specific look of the character, and that's why I go back to ask about the new Aquaman. I have no problem with it, but everybody's looking at Aquaman like, okay, do we look at him as the blonde hair, blue-eyed type of guy, or is he going to fit the character?
You look at him as the king of Atlantis, and that is what he is. He's the king of Atlantis, and we will find out more about him and Mira in this Justice League film, because honestly, it looks like he's going to be his character in Atlantis is going to be some kind of major point with this film, because far as I'm understanding, we have 3 mother boxes out there, people. One given to man, one given to the Amazons, and one given to the Atlanteans.
Well, don't forget, now, at the end of Batman and Superman, there were 3 mother boxes.
Correct.
That he was holding. It was Steppenwolf. He was holding 3 mother boxes before he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So where did those 3 mother boxes go?
Well, if you've seen in the Justice League trailer just a tiny little bit, where they were digging a hole, that was a mother box in the hole, and that was man, because there was a king's helmet and all that, so that was man. That was man burying the mother
Marky,
box.
what was that in?
What was that?
In what? Batman vs Superman or what?
Batman vs. Superman,
Batman
the
versus
director's
Superman.
cut. When they were coming
okay.
to arrest Lex Luthor, he was talking to the big figure with the big helmet, which is supposedly being Steppenwolf, and he had 3 mother boxes. So what I'm figuring, they gave 3 mother boxes out to back in the day, one to the Atlanteans, one to the Amazons, and one to man. And that's where everything's starting to come up, and who knows? I think Aquaman's going to be a major point with it. Of course, with the Flash, because you need the Flash with his speed, and then Cyborg was just like seeing it was a freak accident that happened.
And for a lot of people who don't understand what the
Superman. I don't know how the hell they're going to do this in 2 hours.
Well, for a lot of people who don't understand the motherboard concept, if you don't follow DC, it's almost you can relatively kind of characterize that with the Infinity Gauntlet stones on the Marvel side, if you will. Right. So if you don't know what the mother box is, it's a box that holds supreme power.
You can make boom tubes out of it. You can actually, boom, just catapult yourself to another universe. You can catapult yourself to Apocalypse. You can have Apocalypse to come. You get what I'm going with?
The easiest way to
there's
say
a lot
it's
a lot of things. So where they're going with it and how they're doing it, but they look great. The Flash scene was awesome. I dig that scene with him and Bruce Wayne and all that stuff. But not to get off, that Wonder Woman trailer was holy shit.
Amazing.
That was epic. I mean,
everything was said to Wonder Woman.
And got you all excited for her at the end of the trailer. And I got to give it to Tim, too. I know he's waiting for it. Doctor Strange. I know zero of Doctor Strange. But after seeing that trailer, I want to know more about Doctor Strange. That was a great fucking trailer.
I think this is what Tim told me, and I actually watched it. If you go on Netflix and you watch the Doctor Strange animated series on Netflix, that will catch you up with what you're supposed to be expecting on the movie.
Cool.
Am I right or not, Tim, when it comes to that?
Well, it does retell the origin, but what was interesting about the Doctor Strange animated movie, which is probably one of the better Marvel ones, which isn't saying much, but it holds up well. And it shows this version of Doctor Strange as more of an action, swords and axes and fights, as opposed to Doctor Strange of old. He conjures spells using his fingers and everything. But what is really interesting is the director, Scott Derrickson. We are taking a major left turn from the Marvel universe. I mean, if you look at it, it is an acid trip up and down, right? Everything, all the mind-altering things. And what was the interesting part of the trailer at the very end, and Stephen Strange, he hands him a card, he says, that's the Wi-Fi password. Shambhala is a mystical, hidden city that mystics and Tibetans talk about, but it's also the name of a Doctor Strange graphic novel that may or may not be part of the storyline they're telling. It's called Into Shambhala, which is a Doctor Strange graphic novel. So the main villain, Mads Mikkelsen, is literally unheard of. He appeared in like a small story arc. Baron Mordo, the Ancient One, and all those. I mean, we haven't seen Clea or Dormammu yet, so I would imagine they're going to appear. Hopefully, some type of maybe end credit scene, because don't go out and buy Strange Tales 130, which is the first appearance of this villain that you're seeing, Mads Mikkelsen, because he's probably going to be a throwaway villain. He's going to be gone after this stuff, right? After this movie, he's one of those throwaway Marvel villains where they're alluding to the big baddie, which is Dormammu, and that's the leader of the Dark Realm, and that's where Clea comes from. And so I mean, it's curious because everything that's coming out now, and then DC and Marvel and doing all these big superhero things, then you got this kind of mystical, mind-bending shit that's coming out that if it does well. It opens up Justice League dark stuff on the DC side. You could have Dr. Fate.
It does. But you know what I was disappointed in, Tim? I was disappointed in the trailer because it showed a lot of sci-fi effects with the universe collapsing and everything like that leading onto the other side. But I didn't see a lot of Doctor Strange's mystical powers, which I was hoping to see a little bit more on the trailer. Granted, I'm glad they're saving that for the movie because you don't want to reveal so much on the trailer. Right. But how much are we actually going to see mystical powers of Doctor Strange?
I would say in probably the last, the third part of the movie, because this is an origin movie. He's gonna get the training, get the powers, and then you're gonna see him full on hexes. Because Benedict Cumberbatch even said so. He said it's very finger gymnastics. Now, if you know Doctor Strange, he does all the conjuring with his fingers. He needs to use his hands. The fingers, right. He needs to use his hands as well as his mouth to do any spells.
Yes, it's like a ninja thing. He used the hands and fingers to do the symbols that evokes with his spells to create this energy and mystic powers and everything. It's yeah. And I think it's just as you said, just an origin film. It's not going to show that much of his powers. And I think, as you said at the beginning, it's going to be an introductory film, not going to be that he's at full power, probably.
Right. I understand that with the origin story and everything. And, as I mentioned earlier, with Doctor Strange, I didn't really know a lot of Doctor Strange. So when I was on Lords of the Round Table shows, when you guys would talk a lot about Doctor Strange, I was very, very, just kind of out there with it until I actually watched the Netflix cartoon series, not series, but the movie on Doctor Strange, and it kind of caught me up. So for a lot of new beginners out there who don't know a lot about the origin story, who don't know who Doctor Strange is, I definitely recommend watching something like that. That way you kind of get a base ground, kind of get a starting point of who Doctor Strange is, and you can actually go from there. And if you decide that
way, on the DC side, he is the Marvel's version of Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate shows up when there's major supernatural things going about. Doctor Strange's new series, he's just finally got his solo, but prior to that, he has miniseries here and there, and his last big solo series was from like the 80s, but the one from the 70s lasted the longest. He shows up when there's major things happening in the Marvel Universe, and he has to kind of siphon through all the mystical shit, even on the cosmic side, because he's in touch. Eternity first appeared in this Doctor Strange story. Eternity is the being that is the entire fabric of the Marvel Universe. So he first appeared. That's why Doctor Strange ties to both the mystical side and the cosmic side. So I can see him just popping up in random Marvel movies like, oh, you guys need some help? Let me take care of this. Okay, I'm out.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Speaking of Doctor Strange and everything, they also said that the movie is supposed to introduce you to Marvel's different universes. What do you guys think about that?
Different realms or something like that?
You know how like DC have Earth 1, Earth 2, and all that stuff? Doctor Strange will do the same thing.
Mr. Mayor, the Honorable Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to chime in on this one.
Please.
What I think is, from what I'm seeing based off a lot of the Marvel movies that are coming up, I think they're trying to cross over and overlap into the more galactic realm. So with that said, in the magical realm, so with the Doctor Strange and with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you have the Earth characters, superheroes as well, I think eventually they're going to cross over, and it comes out to become the Infinity War, exactly. So that's where I think they're leading into right now with that.
Yeah, they need.
Also, don't forget the Ant-Man microverse, the pocketed universe that
that's right.
Another
Yes.
universe that they're talking about, and they're also talking about the astral plane, which Doctor Strange has the ability to leave his own body and go into an astral plane. And there's a whole. The thing is, if his body gets when he leaves his body into astral plane, if his body gets destroyed, he's stuck in that astral plane forever. That's why he has powerful spells to protect him while he's out on his astral plane. But there's another realm, and there's also the dark realm, which is the where the dark beings are. Dormammu is from, Clea's from, Umar's from. That's so. But the thing is, Marvel, they say, okay, it's science-based magic, like Thor, kind of. But this is even more so. So this literally can mean that he's pulling his magic from quotations from another alternate universe. I mean, Marvel doesn't really have Earth 1, Earth 2, they eliminated all that shit. They collapsed it all down. They don't even have an Ultimates universe anymore. So the Ultimates universe is what the movie universe is, basically. But I think what they're saying is we can go into these little side realms here, and they've already established that by saying, look, Thanos has been throwing aliens down on Earth by opening up these portals. You've seen the Infinity Realms. You've seen the 9 realms of Asgard. I mean, we've only seen where the Frost Giants are. We've only seen Midgard. We've only seen Asgard. We haven't seen where Surtur is, which is the fire, where the fire planet. Surtur is the big lord of all the fire, and so we haven't seen. That's one thing we have to talk about. Thor Ragnarok, which kind of snuck in there, and they showed the fucking Thor or the
snuck
Hulk
in there. Yeah.
Oh man, that World War Hulk, baby.
They showed the armor for for the Hulk on the Ragnarok. What did you guys think about that? Are we leading off topic here, or is that just a segue, Tim, into the next topic there?
Hey, instead of talking Marvel, baby, y'all been talking DC all this time. Let's get some Marvel in there.
Let's get some Marvel.
If you look at the comics,
Thor. Oh, shit! When I saw that armor for the Hulk, I was like, oh, it's on. It's on.
Straight out of Planet Hulk.
So will Better Ray Bill be in it? That's the question. Better Ray Bill, maybe.
Well, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he was. Right? I'm glad you agreed with me.
I mean, who else is a big horse face looking dude in the Marvel universe?
With a red cape. With a red cape at that, right?
What's interesting to me is if it's truly Ragnarok, and that means that it's the Asgardians' Twilight, right? It's cyclical though. It happens in the comics. Thor's died like 5 fucking times because of Ragnarok and come back because it's. The Norse mythology is the Midgard serpent is chasing its tail, and it eventually catches his tail, and that's the end of the world, and then the world rebuilds itself, right? And that's old Norse mythology. And then in the Ragnarok story, it's been done so many times that, I mean, I think Odin is still dead or in his Odin sleep, but I think Hemsworth's movie contract is up. So unless he re-ups again, this is the last Thor movie. Or it could be maybe he appears in the Infinity Wars.
Oh, he's
but
got
after that, I don't think he's around. Either they recast it or they re-up him. I don't know if these guys are getting tired of doing it, but every time they get their paycheck.
Tim, there are 2 things that, Kevin Feige has said in the past and what he's been saying now in little things. One thing he said for the Ragnarok is basically the basis of everything coming up. This is an important film in the lineage of their films. That's one thing. Number thing, yes. They got them multiple movie deals, but the contracts are coming up, and I think they're gonna be coming up in the Infinity Wars, and that's where you're gonna see Phase 4. You're going to see different maybe characters. Maybe it's different people taking over, stuff like that. Let's face it, people, Robert Downey Jr. cannot be always Iron Man. The man is getting older and older, and these films take about 2 to 3 years each to make and all that and get in production. How many more times you want him to be an Iron Man? I mean, he probably want to do it until he's in a walker or something. I don't know. Maybe they can superimpose the walker out or something. I don't know. But, eventually there has to be a shift. And I think that's going to be in Phase 4 after the Infinity Wars, because I think a lot of shit's going to get fucked up. That's what I think. I think a lot of things are going to happen, and a lot of oohs and ahs, and then you're going to see the next phase. And that's what's been really cool with Marvel, is that they've been getting these stories and these cool storylines. Maybe not as accurate as the books, but they're all jumbling up to this big thing. They've been teasing us since day one, since that first Avengers film. Infinity Wars, Part 1 and Part 2, and I think shit is going to get fucked up, and you're going to find out who is staying and who is going and who is moving on.
We know the. I'm sorry, Edwin. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say
Go
they'll
ahead.
have a young black woman for to replace Tony Stark as Iron Man. But no, I want to say that Tim, I actually appreciate saying what you're saying because I'm looking at the chat, I'm looking at the panel, and I don't really know anything about Doctor Strange. So you're really building my interest. And one of the things that I did recognize is that he's kind of a big mind. So that being said, he's actually a part of the Illuminati in comics, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, the Illuminati in comics is Doctor Strange, Namor, Reed Richards,
Black
Black
Adams.
Panther,
Professor X.
Professor X, and Tony Stark, and they're the ones that actually shoot Hulk off into space. So we're missing some of them. Obviously, we don't have Professor X, we don't have Reed Richards because they belong over to Fox. But what's
It's not
scary-
Black Adam from the Inhumans instead of Black Panther?
No,
Yeah,
Black
Black
Bolt is
Panther,
also
yeah.
in the Illuminati, but he doesn't talk, so I don't know what
Oh.
he can what he can say. As soon as he says something, the meeting's over. But you know what? What was interesting is you guys noticed everybody was saying that damn Fox rumor and Marvel and nothing, absolutely nothing. Once again, it's those sites just trying to get clickbait. So we got nothing. So I don't know. Maybe it'll come out in the future. Fox didn't even have a panel, I don't think. I mean, they didn't talk about any upcoming X projects, any upcoming Fantastic Four projects, nothing about. Was there anything about Deadpool? I know Ryan Reynolds
Nothing.
signed some stuff, but nothing, right? It was
Nothing.
kind of weird. That Fox,
What about Legion? What Legion? What's going to be on?
did they have anything? I don't even think
They
they did Fox
released the
TV.
trailer. They
They
released the
released
trailer.
the trailers.
That was it, just Legion?
That was
I
it.
thought
I
that's
don't
kinda
know. I
sad,
don't know.
actually.
I mean, you
Here's
know,
the thing,
it-
man. I mean, Fox had a huge success on their hands with Deadpool. At least show up and give some lip service to the fans, right? I mean, just say, hey, this is what we're working on. Maybe Cable, have Ryan Reynolds just be himself on stage, and the fans would have loved it because Ryan Reynolds
he
is.
not there? Was there
He
nothing?
was there. He was doing a signing, but he didn't. I don't think he was at a panel for anything because Fox didn't have a big presence because they just lost. But that's a shame because they own Deadpool, they own X-Men. I mean, we don't. I mean, I think the X-Men Apocalypse movie didn't do as well as they suspected, whereas Deadpool exceeded expectations greatly. And I would think just to show a little something like, hey, we just wanted to show up, say we're working on Deadpool 2, and maybe here's some storyboards, just to keep fans, just let them know what's
That
going
would have
on.
been a great time to show who they're going to cast as Cable. That would have been a perfect time.
yeah.
I don't think they know yet.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
think
Yeah,
they
they're
know
still
yet.
they're still
No.
in pre-production phases. They're still in writing stages. They're getting ready. They're getting ready for it. But also, I just want to throw there was a big shakeup with Fox also. If not to get political or anything, but the head guy over there is stepped down. So now you got another guy in charge and whatever like that. So who knows? I'm just saying, who knows?
Isles?
Yeah, Ailes.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Fox
that's-
News is totally separate from Fox Entertainment.
It's the
I mean,
same damn thing. He has
no,
a
it's
hand in
not.
the cookie.
No, all he does is Fox News. If you look at the hierarchy on FX and all those other channels, they don't do any type of conservative talk or anything. If anything, they lean liberal with their type of shows that they
True,
do.
but
Well,
he's still a major thing that happened. Now where this goes, I don't know. But like you said, the Fantastic Four bombed. They should. I don't know. Everybody wants Marvel to get that back. I don't see that happening unless they just wave the white flag and said, "Fuck it, take them back. We're keeping the X-Men," and that's it. Or maybe
Yeah,
they
they're-
might even feel the crunch. Maybe they'll say, "Well, look, maybe they might gonna see how this Spider-Man and Sony the deal goes with them, and if they be proven to be successful." Maybe they start thinking maybe they might open up some talk. Who knows? But you know what? We didn't say this with Spider-Man. Oh, they're never going to get Spider-Man ever again. That's it. And look what happened. So who knows? Anything can happen with this shit.
It's going to take a Fox email hack to put them there,
Yeah,
'cause
basically.
The Sony email hack is what kind of.
But
you know,
WikiLeaks on that bastard.
Well,
But you're
here's the
talking
thing,
about you're talking about the first family of superheroes here
Yeah.
when it comes to Marvel, man. Such an iconic family and characters we see, and they have not really done justice to that team from what I've seen in a movie in quite some time. They have to go back to that because almost everything, because you have a family that portrays superheroes within the world, but can also go to the galactic realm as well. So, I mean, they're in all realms here. So, what is going on? They have to bring back the Fantastic Four.
Here's my speculation: is that they didn't announce anything, but I think it's still in the works. I think Marvel will strike a deal with Fox, and they will do the same thing with Sony, because now the Fox is saying, hey, man, so we can actually keep all the money and Marvel just do the creative side of it, because that's where they've had problems on the creative side of it. So now Marvel can say, hey, we can interweave these stories. We can get Galactus. We can get fucking Doctor Doom. We can get the Negative Zone, which leads back to Doctor Strange and other realms, and right? You get the Negative Zone.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the family that has to be in. It's almost a family that interlinks everything together.
Well, the good news is that Marvel and Fox worked it out to allow Fox to do a Legion TV show, right? Because they had to get Marvel's approval. Marvel said, go ahead, it's not that major of a character.
Sure.
Fox will never let go of X-Men. It's too much of a cash cow, but they need help, because after Age of Apocalypse, what are they going to do? We got Sinister. I mean, Sinister is a level down from Apocalypse. I don't see why you would go less. And here's another thing what we didn't even talk about.
Jackman's going bye-bye, too.
What happened, exactly, where was the Wolverine 3 panel? Wolverine 3 is coming out next year. Where was any news or footage about that? I mean, that seems like
I don't think they're ready yet for that, to be honest.
They already started filming.
But they're not ready to introduce. I think there are some problems going on right now, based off a few articles that I read with the Wolverine. Not just the casting, but the filming of that. So I don't think that's one of the reasons why they didn't introduce anything like that.
Yeah, I think Fox Studios is in trouble. I mean, Deadpool, put it this way, if Deadpool would have tanked critically and financially, they would have been in deep trouble. Deadpool saved their asses, because X-Men Age of Apocalypse underperformed. It underperformed critically and at the box office. I mean, after you saw Civil War and Deadpool, and to an extent Batman vs. Superman and X-Men Apocalypse came out after all of them, and it was just kind of like meh. I got to see Phoenix, but outside of that, it was like, eh. You know,
I think that was the only thing. That was the only thing good about that movie, was to be able to see the rise of the Phoenix. You know what I mean? Anything else in that was just, of course, Psylocke, but
Don't forget Quicksilver. No, not Quicksilver. Quicksilver.
Quicksilver didn't do anything for me for that movie, to be honest with you.
He had a great scene again. He had a Steen Siller again.
He had a good 3 minutes, and that was it.
Oh, that was it. You get a good 3 minutes, and then that's the
Hey, people get knocked out in a heavyweight fight in less than 3 minutes.
I think the major characters in that movie, for me, what really brought me into that movie, only thing that brought me into the movie, of course, was the Rise of the Phoenix, of course, and then you got Psylocke. Anything else besides that, to me, was just irrelevant. To be honest with you,
kind of whack, actually.
I mean, not only that, Apocalypse is basically the DC version of a dark side to them. So I was expecting Thanos is. I'm sorry, but he's a big dude, and I was like expecting some more things. Yeah, he had some cool, he'll fuck your shit up. I mean, but they really didn't utilize what more he can really do. But I enjoyed the film. Yeah, it definitely underperformed, but I didn't do that bad. It did make money. It
wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie, but compared to the other Marvel movies that came out, if you look at what it brought in, it didn't do as great as the other one. And for that reason, right.
Well, just this year alone, Deadpool and Civil War. I mean, if you want to lump all Marvel movies, not Marvel Studios movies, but just all Marvel movies in general, and I think Bryan Singer is running out of steam. He said he's not going to be doing any more good, because I think he's burned out of it. I mean, I don't even think he was that good anyway to begin with. I mean, X-Men 2 was maybe the best one, and even that movie was kind of like the wussification of Wolverine, right? I mean, we still haven't seen. In my opinion, we haven't seen the badass Berserker Logan. The closest we saw was Berserker Wolverine in Age of Apocalypse, when he was straight up Weapon X. That's the only true. I have yet to see Wolverine from the comics appear in the movies yet.
Let me ask you guys a question, because I think I have the perfect villain, and I would like to petition this for the next Wolverine film. Omega Red.
Oh, most definitely.
I think that would be the perfect villain for the next Wolverine film.
Yeah,
and in a way, it kind of unites Russia and the United States a little bit as well.
Shit, tied into Winter Soldier and Black Widow somehow with Marvel? Boom, got something there.
It could be. Hey, and we, another thing we also saw, we saw a teaser to to the Defenders. We saw a teaser to the Iron
Oh,
Fist.
yeah.
We saw the teaser
Cage,
to Luke Cage, Iron
No,
Man.
that wasn't a teaser. Luke
Yeah.
Cage was straight up trailer.
That was
That was
trailer.
my man Luke Cage was throwing it down. He was like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah,
tired of
throwing
people
it
messing
down.
up my
That was an
clothes.
awesome trailer. Yep.
I'm
Yes.
tired of people shooting me, messing up my clothes, man."
Where is Netflix going with this? I mean, there's so much potential and such great things. You can binge watch all day, and there's such great production value on this. It's such great characters, what they're leading into. I'm loving where Netflix is going. It is totally a different realm from what we see in the movies, but it is a universe within it, within its own, and I'm loving where they go with this. So much more than I'm loving what CW is doing with the Flash and everything else, and that's another great realm alone in itself. But my God,
Flashpoint.
Netflix, man. Yeah, Flashpoint. I mean, look at Netflix. It's just amazing. Great stuff on that. Any comments on that one?
It's great. I mean, I'm telling you, I thought, okay, we're just gonna get a Daredevil. They're gonna see how it goes. I liked the first one, and then when the second one came out with Punisher, holy shit! I was okay. Now I get it. This is what I like to see. I like that grittiness. I mean, we're in New York. We're in Hell's Kitchen here. We can't say filth, far filth. I mean, we got to throw an F and a shit bomb here once in a while here. I mean, let's get a little real here. So I
Isn't
like
Hell's Kitchen really nice now, though?
Yeah. And it just
Hell's Kitchens is a great place now.
yeah.
No, but back in the '80s when the Hell's Kitchen story.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot dark and gritty. Now it's turning into Brooklyn, all hipsters.
Very true. But I really enjoyed all this stuff, and I really want to know about more of these characters, and then them building up with Defenders and all that, because I don't know that much about Luke Cage. I don't know much about Iron Fist, so now I can watch these Netflix series and get a little caught up on who these characters are. Punisher I knew. Punisher I enjoyed. And
The
all
brother
that
in the
stuff.
suit in the Luke Cage trailer, that's Cottonmouth. That's the
Okay.
main villain. That's the main villain that you
Okay.
saw. And they're all street level because Luke Cage
Right.
used to be a thug, and he got experimented on in prison, and that's how he got his powers.
There you got his powers.
And what was cool is Johnny Bernthal appeared at the San Diego Comic-Con too, even though they didn't show. I think they just showed like a little montage of Punisher stuff. And then it's also said Jessica Jones is getting a second season. Daredevil's getting season 3. So it looks like. At first I thought, oh, we're all going to do one season and then they're going to do the Defenders. But now it looks like, hey, it's so popular. We can do 2-3 seasons. I mean, I still skeptical. I don't know if they're going to do Midnight Suns on Netflix. It just doesn't seem budgetary constraints that they can afford to do Ghost Rider and Blade, all these kind of high special effects type shows. But, yeah, man, Defenders, they got to get together to fight somebody. Who's it going to be? Like Kingpin? Does it need all four of them unless Kingpin gets with somebody else?
Do it like this. You would do the Defenders like you would do almost like a Superman movie. You have Kingpin working in the background. Like Kingpin is pulling all the strings. Let him hire stuff like Bullseye and all these other. It'd be a great way to introduce a whole bunch of villains into
Bullseye, baby.
Yeah.
Bullseye, definitely. He
And
has to get in
Bullseye,
there.
Jigsaw,
He has to get in there. Yeah.
all those people. You could do it all through Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you guys read the Spider Island series? Or the Daredevil one
yeah.
where he becomes the Kingpin and he's running all of Hell's Kitchen and New York, but he kind of took over the Kingpin's role. I forgot what the actual name of the crossover, but it crossed over all the street level characters of New York and Hell's Kitchen. Like almost like, man, it would be great to see a Spider-Man cameo in any one of these Netflix series, right? Because that's his domain in Manhattan, right? I mean, just move over to Hell's Kitchen a little bit and, get to see Spider-Man. I meant, and also they said the Shocker is going to be one of the villains in the Spider-Man movie as well as the Vulture.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Oh, I would love to see the Vulture in a movie, man. That's a hell of a villain. That I think it's after Dr. Octopus is one of the worst foes for Iron Man.
Yeah, they actually showed some concept art of what the Vulture is going to look like, and they had to make it more mechanical because the Vulture on the comic book kind of looks like an old bird, right? He's like bald. He looks like he's 80 years old. He's flying around. He's like a geriatric pigeon out there. You know, like on the big screen, it would look a bit silly, right? But I saw somebody posted a Comic Book Fanatics plug page, and they showed it's kind of mechanical wings. And dude, you got Michael Keaton playing the Vulture. How awesome is that? Michael Keaton. If you haven't seen that movie, the Birdman thing. Great.
I've seen it.
Perfect.
He just absolutely killed that part. Man. Absolutely killed it.
So is that an upgrade or a downgrade from Batman to Vulture? What would you call that? Upgrade, downgrade?
I would call him in the same realm. He's in the comic book realm. He's back in the comic book franchise again. He's a little bit older. There you go. He's gonna fuck shit up.
Considering the time, I think he got an upgrade. Considering the time.
Who's going to go see The Killing Joke tomorrow?
I'm gonna try to
saw it already.
I'm gonna download it tonight and watch it. Yeah, it's on Kodi and it's on the BitTorrents, man. You can download that shit and watch it tonight.
Dude, that's been out ever since Friday.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of late on that one.
I would like to see it in the connections. I would love to see it in the theaters tomorrow, but I won't be able to make it. But I'll wait. I'll wait till it gets.
Marky.
I know.
Okay. All right.
I know.
All right. I gave you the hookup.
I know you gave me the hookup.
It's extended for 2 days, right? I mean, it's going to be Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday.
Marky, I mean, there's like 27,000 different ways to watch it right now.
I know.
Although I don't advocate for the illegal downloading of copyrighted
we're trying
material.
to get the illegal downloading. Yes. Try to keep the shit legit.
Hey, so are we going to talk about Brie Larson being Captain Marvel with her fine ass?
Great pick. There were circling rumors, I mean, of who was going to be Captain Marvel, but they had to do it today.
So
they had to do it this week.
Anybody apprehensive about her? She's got an Oscar for The Room, which is a great movie, but she's also in the new Skull Island movie, where it's going to show her being more action oriented. She is the photographer that you see in the. If you watch the Skull Island trailer, which is interesting, Loki and Captain Marvel are fighting King Kong in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I mean, it's almost weird. Also, like Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. Like they were in a romantic comedy in the '80s, and here he is hitting on her back in Civil War. It's like it's all these things. I mean, the Marvel stable that they have of actors is it's incredible. I mean,
stacked.
Just look at the Doctor Strange cast. It's like, man, who are all these? They had Robert Redford before. I mean, they had all these big actors. It's kind of like before. I think there was a thing. I'm not gonna do a comic movie. And then they're like, shit, I'll do one. They're making good money now. I mean, now they're not cheesy. Before, I don't want to do a Richard Pryor Superman movie.
Yeah.
But now they're all lining up. They'd love to do San Diego Comic-Con. They know this is and they're Marvel's smart in locking up these actors when they're young, like Brie Larson, right? Because she's fixing to blow up. They locked up Scarlett Johansson. Wow, God, when did she first appear in Iron Man 1?
2.
Or Iron Man 2, right? Good. What was that, like 10 years ago?
In a while.
I guess not.
She's the highest paid actress now.
Yeah, now look at her. See, now Marvel couldn't afford her, but she's locked into contracts, so they can still, do things. I mean,
You're going to do 25 films and like it.
Hey, real quick, guys, before we start getting in a little bit more of this information here, I know our special guest Jeff West. He has to actually take off right now, but I just wanted to say, hey, thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on. I wanted to see you off properly, and we hope that you can actually come back on the show maybe for a full interview next time and just kind of just do an interview about a lot of things you've done and getting a little bit more information on you, if that's okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I appreciate the time, and it was great being here listening to you guys talk. So, yeah, I'm really intrigued to learn more about Doctor Strange and all this stuff you're talking about. So it's just cool. Yeah, I know. I gotta get back to work on Raymond's drawings and other stuff. But like I put in the message there, I'm launching a Patreon page this week.
That's nice. That's nice.
And you can always check out my website, and I'll have my prints on there too. If you guys ever want to get an original sketch, just give me a holler. I'll give you something done.
Yeah, and maybe if you can come back on, I don't know, maybe next weekend or the week after that when you have time again, I'd like to do a full interview with you and maybe talk a little bit more about your websites and your Patreon sites and things like that, and maybe hopefully you can show us some of your portfolio artwork and everything.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Yeah, maybe after I get back from this con in Vegas, we'll do that.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice meeting y'all. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good week.
All right, awesome to have
That's
him, man.
cool.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
I
that was
definitely
cool,
would like
man.
to-
Anybody
I'm
else just sweating their balls off? I have no AC on in this
Are
room.
you kidding me?
Jesus fuck.
You guys on
Side
the West Coast are getting killed out there. Me and Jeff, man. What did we hit? We hit 97 yesterday.
97,
Good
yeah.
lord.
I mean,
And
I
humidity,
know it's
right?
nothing to you guys, but man, we're friggin' dying out here.
Hey,
Alex.
Hey,
Alex,
Yes,
real quick.
yes.
Alex, can you show that Harley Quinn print again if you don't
Oh,
mind?
here we go.
Yeah,
Wait,
I-
before
I-
you start, here you go.
While
I'd
he's
love to,
showing the print.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, okay. I sent the link to you guys, but I also have to share the screen here.
Oh, let's see here.
Yeah, just to let you know that is the original in 11 by 17 sketch art. She also is doing.
That almost looks like an art
That's
journal
really
piece,
good.
man.
Yeah, that's
You know
just
what I mean?
fancy for now. And she also is doing these Pokemon pinup. I don't know if you can see there.
Oh, wow.
Pokemon Go. Yeah, Jeff was just telling about the Patreon that he is opening. That's what I was talking to Chris, and we opened a Patreon project that's called Pinapology. That is just about pinups, but in a different way, more professional and commercial way. But what we do with the Pinapology is we have these patrons, they support the project itself, and in exchange we send to them rewards that are could be original sketch, original art, or digital arts. And for instance, we also have these beautiful prints here. That's a Wonder Woman that she did, and what we do with these prints, Jeff just said that he's putting also prints on his Patreon. These prints, most of these prints, that's Wonder Woman. That is, she's going to kill me. But anyways, I'll deal with that later. That is
You beat me to it, Marky. I was going to show off the color version too.
Black Cat, and all these prints. We also have a guy that's called Escape Collectibles. He does these wonderful prints, and we sell there. And part of the money, like this is a version of Merida from Brave. I don't know if you saw
that's a sexy version of Meredith right
Oh, you need to see this one, man. This one is let's see if you can find.
I just want to say, Chris, I love you. I love your artwork, and I want all those prints. Okay.
Yeah, see that's my favorite character. Just to let you know, guys.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that.
Supergirl. Yeah.
You know what? You know what would really bring in Ray's if she did Power Girl. You know, if she had a Power Girl.
Yeah, and that's the good thing. So, anyways, if it's possible during the week, I can enter in the Facebook group and send to you guys some links. If you think that it's possible or if it's worth to
Alex,
share. Guys,
no, Alex.
it's
If the Facebook group, please feel free to post anything on the Facebook group. As far as her artwork goes and everything, I've told her in the past it's quite all right. Please share her artwork. I'd love more of her artwork on the Facebook group. Yeah, it'd be wonderful. Please, by all means, yeah, I'd love to have Chris show a lot of her things. So she's just an amazing artist.
And as well as if you think that it could share some like ideas or something, yeah, we are open to receive from you some suggestions. To do some artwork. I think that for her, comics is not her big thing. She loves comics also, but I don't know why. Like Marky was saying about the late death. Yeah. I think that Bangladesh would be how can I say? It should be very nice to them to have her because I think her style. Fits
perfectly with that with Lady Death. Oh, come on! I mean, I even said that. And I got retweeted. So he retweeted. So he's seen it. So I don't know. Brian, call her, please.
She doesn't like to because she is also a teacher here.
Yes.
The student we have, so she doesn't like to go much with some nudity or partial, even though the Boundless, they do those special set of
Yeah,
poses.
I don't like Lady Death like that. I like Lady Death back in the Chaos days where they
Yes.
just kept
I
it.
agree.
Kept it. I understand why he's doing that boundaries because they're just giving the artist a little creative. I don't need. I honestly, if I want to see Lady Death nude, I can go to a goddamn strip club. Okay, so that I like the Chaos era, and if she can keep, and if we keep it like that, then I'm all cool with that. I mean, you know, that's fine. I think she'll hit it out of the park with her.
We used to do for the patrons on Pinapology Project. We used to do all these girls. How can I say a hot version? So married, yeah, Supergirl.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you
decide not
haven't
do that
gone
anymore.
yeah, if you haven't gone to Chris's website, Pinapology, she's got some amazing, wonderful artwork on there, and you can see a lot of the stuff. And a lot of those prints are up for sale too. Am I right, Alex? Yeah.
Yes. As I told you, I can share with you on Facebook the link.
Sure.
It's Escape Collectibles, and the printer. What they do. The guy that's called he sends to us these prints, and she signs the print. And as she did for you, Marty, for your commission, because we would like to have the let's put it this way, the fans and the guys that they like comics. We think that when you decide to buy or even if it's a sketchbook for an artist, it's because you are showing not only the appreciation of their artwork, but also because you are willing to invest some money on that. So when you receive the commission, we think that way. You shouldn't receive just the paper with the commission. You should receive something more, or signed by the artist, a letter saying, oh, you know, this is original art and one of a kind, and some bonus, because that's very important for us or for her as an artist. And I'm always thinking on the commercial part of the procedures. And it's very important. Nowadays, it's difficult to grab $100, $180 or something like that, or even $50, because you have so many expenses. But if you're willing to spend something on an artist's artwork, the artist should, how can I say, pampered the customer somehow. And there is a lot of things. Yeah, there are a lot of things. Just a sketch, you know, send the sketch with the guy, just that freaking piece of paper, but the guy's paying for that. So if you have a small print, send the print, and it doesn't cost that much. And if I were the customer, I would be amazed to receive a package with a lot of things, you know, when you wrap and.
I tell you what, Alex, I was pampered when she sent me my comic book. I felt like I was pampered. If you saw the video of it, she included so much stuff on that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you know, real quick, we're almost hitting that 2-hour mark on our show, guys, where we do the final thoughts and shout outs. But I feel like we missed something because there's just so much to talk about when it comes to this week with the San Diego Comic-Con going on, all these trailers going on, all these just talks about. Is there anything that I'm missing? Before we even just get off here and talk about, before we actually start doing final thoughts and shout outs. Anybody?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Robbie Reyes. Come on, guys. Y'all guys didn't see the vlog, the announcement, everything? Oh, yeah, Flashpoint with Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom. And the Flashpoint trailer on that, we know where we're leading up, and I've got some feedback going on someone else's end here. So, but that right there drew me in. I think this season of Flash is going to be the ultimate season because they're supposed to not only pushing through the Flashpoint series, and if you have not read the Flashpoint, you've got to get on that. It's really, really great storyline, and they also do a really great what is it called on Netflix? The Flashpoint Paradox.
Flashpoint Paradox.
That's a really good video as well to watch. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. But I think this season is going to blow it out the water. I think with a lot of introductions of different characters and everything else, definitely a big thing to go on for that.
And you could explain a lot of things, like how come Supergirl now is in their universe and everything like that, since he changed some shit and whatever like that. So who the hell knows? Everything's going to be different. I mean, hell, welcome to the Flashpoint, like it said. So we'll see what happens with this.
And what about Arrow, the new heroes?
You know what? They need to do something because
They need to do something.
They need to do something because that last season was horrible. I'm sorry. I was
The only
pissed.
good thing about that last season was when they
Damien
brought
Dark was the only
Ollie
thing
West
good
with the
about
beard
it.
in. That was the only
The
thing.
only good thing was killing off Laurel.
Oh.
Man, no
Yeah.
Russian ass
They
bitch.
need to do something with Felicity. I'm getting tired of Felicity. She's
They
all
need to
great
kill
eye
Felicity.
candy.
tired of that too.
Great eye candy, but I just hate the character.
They
I'll
had
be
a
honest
chance
with
to
you.
roll her off the building when she was in a wheelchair, but damn, they let the bitch walk now. Shit. Nah,
You know, guys,
that's-
just
They
getting
need
what you're
Deathstroke
saying.
back, baby. They need to bring his ass back, man. I don't know.
Yes, they do.
Hey Tim, just
You know
get
what?
what you say. Sorry, very quickly. You were telling about the Netflix, and we're talking about the Netflix series about superheroes and everything. Maybe we could talk later on some weeks ahead about what I think is the Netflix and also other TV series that they are bringing some other superheroes. They are showing other superheroes, not the big ones like just Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the three at the end. You know, it's very important because especially for the comics industry, we have a lot of new and even guys between the 20s and 30s, they don't know about these superheroes, and that's very important because we have so nice other characters like Iron Fist. Luke Cage, we are telling. We see nowadays we have Flash, we have Arrow, we have the new adventure of Supergirl. So I think that bringing these series, and I hope the stories and the plot are really nice. It's very cool to show other superheroes than just the big ones to the whole audience. And nowadays kids and teenagers, they can see these movies. Because I have here in that store, I see the customers, they are arriving. Oh, did you see the last episode of Green Arrow? Did you see? So sometimes I don't catch up because I have the college either. Also, and but it's very nice. Maybe we could talk about how cool or how can I say close to the comics or what the plot is going around. But the most important thing, bring these characters to life and to show to the new audience, because you know industry is not only Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman. They have other.
Let's talk about it right now. We can talk about it right now.
That's a good topic, Alex, because you know, to be honest with you, I know this is your second time on the show, but if you watch a lot of past episodes, we do talk about things like that. We do talk about Tim show, Lords of the Round Table. We talk about things like that as well. So we talk about a lot of things that interact with just different characters, how they relate to the TV shows compared to what we see in the comic books, and you know some of the differences and stuff like that. So we do talk about things like that.
Well,
but go ahead, go ahead.
What Alex is saying, that it's the carriage leading the horse, right? A lot of times it's people know the comic book and then they watch the show, but now, like you said, there's a whole generation that are watching the show, and then they go to the comic store and say, "Hey, man, how do I find out more about this Hawk dude? Or who is this guy?" And Legends tomorrow, I'm actually, going into next season, it's going to be doing the whole Justice Society thing, man. Now we're talking a lot of Golden Age and Silver Age heroes that a lot of new readers perhaps
Dr.
don't know
Faith,
about.
I hope.
Oh my God, that's Dr. Fate is probably one of my favorite DC characters, and so it's getting the young people to like, let me go digging for older stories, because right now, unfortunately, they have to do rebirth, so they have to go back 20, 30 years, get these old trades or whatever, and kind of read the older versions of them. And I think that's what TV shows are doing. I mean, already people are out going and buying Doctor Strange trades. They're going to be buying. Somebody asked me, "Hey, what Iron Fist stories are good?" I said, "Shit, the last two series, the Mortal Iron Fist and the one prior to that, been great Iron Fist stories. All right, I mean, these are and like." I don't want to talk about this again, but John Schnepp and his documentary, The End of the Comic Book Industry Because of Fucking Movies, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Comic sales have never been stronger. Rebirth, when the Rebirth came out, I think they hit the largest sales numbers since like the 90s. And that's how booming comics. So it's exact opposite. Movies are making, the comic movies are making billions of dollars, and guess what? people are going into the comic shops and saying, "Oh, let me buy comics," and then they're like, "Wait a second, what's a variant? Oh shit, a new heroin addiction? Okay, let me go get variants now." So it's like a whole, they're getting the guy to go into the comic store. He asked the comic book owner, "Hey, what should I read? I'll read these trades." What's this? Oh, that's a special cover that comes out every week. Oh, well, let me get some of these. What's a pull list? Well, here you can just pick up comics every week, and it's cyclical, right? That's how we teach our sons or our friends on how to buy comics, and that's what's going on now. So I think right now the comic book industry as a whole is more robust than ever. And when I say comic book industry, I mean comics, movies, collectors, grading, pressing. I mean, shit, there's more people pressing books now more than ever.
Tim, I will tell you. Tim, I will tell you, man. People try to compare what's going on with the comic book industry with the bubble of the '90s. I think it does not compare whatsoever. I think it's close. It's not even close.
It doesn't.
It does not. People always speculate. Well, it's gonna. The bubble's going to burst. I don't think it's going to burst, to be honest with you, because look how much influence that we have, not with just the older generations, but the younger generations. I mean, you look at the Comic Book Fanatics Facebook group. Not only do we have a lot of seasoned collectors on there, but a lot of people that are joining are wanting to know more about comic books, what to read. People are getting into drawing characters as well, and just overall just being trying to get familiar with a lot of this pop culture, because it is a pop culture. It's more than just a comic bubble that we saw in the '90s. It is such a big pop culture that is driving that cart now.
Check this out. Look at a company. Look at a company that was formed just off of the excess kind of stuff that slides off the table. Funko. Gigantic fucking company now that makes figurines based on comic books first. Now it's pop culture. They make Breaking Bad ones, all kinds of different ones. And if I would have told you 10 years ago, I'm going to Comic-Con, you would have said, oh, you're going to San Diego. If I say I'm going to a Comic-Con, people can literally say, oh, you're going which one? Right? Because there's a goddamn Stockton Comic-Con now. There's probably an Idaho City Comic-Con now. There are Comic-Cons all year round. Before, Con Susan was just during the summer. There was C2E2, New York City Comic-Con. There was WonderCon. There was San Diego. Now, it's almost year-round. Like, these guys that do all the shows where they do Artist Alley or do signings or signatures, dude, they can do it year-round, and they can make a very nice living doing it, just traveling to show to show. There's so many. I mean, just in each of you guys' state, you can probably name at least 2 or 3 shows. I mean, forgive me if you live in Montana. I don't know, but I don't. There may be one you have to drive to South Dakota, so I don't know. But I mean, New York. I mean, Florida is kind of crazy. Florida is a huge comic book collecting.
Right.
But there's a lot more cons. But there's a lot more cons because there's a lot more celebrities, not so much comic book artists and writers. But I'm glad, Marty, that you brought this up, because I think it was Tim that talked about the prices and sales and stuff like that, and I think that the reason why comic book sales are somewhat comparable to the 90s is because comic books are 3 times the price as what they were in the 90s, but as far as the sales, they're not selling as many books now as they were in the 90s. It's only comparable just because of the price difference.
Right. Well, it's also, they adjust for inflation as well, but they go by units, because obviously the print runs in the 90s were at least 2 to 3 times more than the print runs are now, because of all the hologram covers and all this was coming out, and Image and Valiant were just fucking doing all, man, and that's what killed the market. They just saturated it with crap.
True.
But now you have different mediums where the internet didn't push it so much before. Now the internet is where you can only get certain variants, right? I mean, look at these sites that pop up that say, if you want the variant, go here and get it. Aspen.com, perfect example. When the Turner variants came out, people were losing their damn minds. Eastman Laird has a special goddamn label just for Kevin Eastman for the Turtle stuff. Stan Lee's got a special label that you could only get at certain places. It's almost like, I'm dating myself here, but it's almost like a rave in 1992, where you went to a street corner, somebody flicked their headlights twice, and they hand you a piece of paper. They told you, go here. There'll be a party coming off in like 3 hours. Some variants are like that, right? Where they say, okay, you have to go to this website at this time to get these variants. And you know what? not a bad example, but it's kind of like that. It's not like, oh, it'll be available everywhere. No, you have to go to this one site on this one day.
And guys, just to let you know very quickly, if any of you wants to get some variant, something, maybe just let me know. Maybe I can get the variant for you and ship to you. It's just, I still have an account with Diamond, and I have a, you know what? I'm gonna do the following. Be more active on the Facebook group and maybe post there some variants. I have some variants here that I put to
yeah, they would
sell
all
on the
love that there. Yeah.
If you wish, and maybe there are
Post
people
it up for
that are
sale on the
interested.
Comic Fanatics page, man.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of thirsty dudes on there.
Yeah. Not only that, I understand. I understand Edwin's concern about the bubble. I mean, Edwin, we've talked about this too, maybe on an off-air chat or whatever like that. I seriously think the bubble's not going to happen. They can make as millions as variants as they're not going to. You know when it's going to happen? When the movie starts sucking. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. Because I don't. When that happened in the '90s, what was out? We had Batman and Robin. We had bullshit. We had crap. They over flooded the market with all these books and everything like that.
Well, I don't think. If you remember the '90s, movies didn't drive the sales of comics at all. What killed us in the '90s
story arcs
was the dilution of the product, because all those guys left and they formed Image and they created so many titles and they hired all their buddies. And you had Blood Strikes and Brigades and Blood this and Blood that, and you had all these weird covers, and then it was good for a time, and then they flooded the market. It was saturation. It wasn't enough quality out there.
Too much of it, and they didn't have anything as what we have now. We got TV shows and movies. We got people talking about it.
Social media drives a lot of the platform now, right? Because I mean, look at everything that we're seeing right now. You have so many, not just fanboys, and I hate to use that term fanboy, but you have so many fans and so many people that are hopping on board of this train right now that I think they want to do well in these movies. I think they want to do well on these TV shows. I think they want to do well on Netflix type of series. That the bubble is not there. I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's a pop culture thing nowadays where we're going to see so much more improvement on what we did back in the 90s. You can't compare it. That's what I'm saying. You cannot compare it based off the 90s. It's just no comparison whatsoever.
It's the norm now. It's like, okay, here's an example for TV shows, right? So CSI came out how long ago? It's gonna end. There's like 27 fucking different versions of CSI now. There's gonna be like a CSI El Paso pretty soon, right? I mean, they just create more of them and people gobble it up because it's entertaining. Like you said, the movies that aren't done well, the audience tells them. Right? Fantastic Four, nobody went to see it. I mean, right? I mean, Batman vs Superman made $875 million, and it was considered a failure by the studio because they wanted to make $1 billion. So that just goes to show you that they care about the product, and then that's why you're getting better ones. Hopefully, with Justice League, you're going to see something that they said, okay, we saw our mistakes. This is going to do. In the past, Warner Brothers were like, no, we don't care. We're going to give you ice skating Captain Mr. Freeze now. We're going to give you bat nipples. We don't care. We don't care what the fans say. We're going to keep on giving you more and more crap, and they can't do that. They gave Blade 1 and 2 good movies. Blade 3 crap. No. So it was like the fans spoke, and they spoke with their pocketbooks. Same thing can be said about comics. Comics don't start selling well, then guess what? They either get new creators to revamp it, and that's the best sign that you can get is if they don't just give up on the title, they bring in a new creative team. And I remember in the past, in the 80s or 90s, if you look, there was like, then it'll be like issues 1 through 32, nothing. Issue 33, John Byrne takes over our story and art. Boom! Sales will go up because they brought in some people that know what they're doing. Like Capullo and Snyder taking over Batman and how well it did and their runs. Now you have these established creators that have a proven track record, and we need to hire this artist and this writer, and let's bring them on board. And then what's great about Image nowadays is they are the independent studio that allows the guys who made their money already in DC and Marvel to come out and do their own side projects. Mark Millar is the perfect example of that.
Oh, yeah.
He created the Ultimates universe and said, all right, I have my own imprint now. I can do stories like Hit Girl, Kick-Ass, Secret Service. I can do Nemesis.
You know, there's a comment on the chat groups, and it's one of the guys were saying, I'm afraid of the oversaturation of the superhero shows and the movies will create better. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be an oversaturation of that. That goes back to what I'm saying about the bubble. I don't think there's going to be, because fans, the older fans and the younger fans who are getting into it want more. They want to see it. They want good movies. They want good comic books. They
Right.
want good trades. I don't think there's going to be an oversaturation. I don't think there's a bubble.
They're
So
not
I
gonna
You
be
got a big demand
right?
right now. You got a
Yeah,
big.
it's a big demand, but eventually
with
that
this.
demand going to go down. I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
you said
I-
before,
I-
Robert Downey can't be acting forever.
I
None of
know.
these actors.
Yeah.
So there are going to be a point where it's going to start going down.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I don't.
not going to
I
happen
don't agree with
tomorrow.
that.
Not going to
I
happen
don't-
anytime soon.
No, Jeff. Even that, I don't think that's going to happen, because just like comic books, even the actors that are getting old and that can't play those specific characters, I think they're going to eventually, one, replace the character, or two, go a different route, just like what the comic books are doing. I mean, look what the
Correct.
comic books did with the Iron Man. They switched him out, him out for a female character now. I mean, so there's with comic books, there's so many routes you can go,
Guys,
and
guys,
that
we
goes
didn't-
back to what we talked about earlier, is trying to be, specific to that character. I don't think that's going to happen.
Marvel has already passed the torch before our eyes, and we didn't even realize it. They passed the torch from Robert Downey Jr. to Tom Holland. It's gone from Iron Man to Spider-Man. As simple as that. We didn't even see it, but they're the two guys that are going to be intertwined with each other. And this kid is playing a 15-year-old, and we're going to get Spider-Man movies that can take over, and he's smart enough. I'm not saying he's going to be the Iron, but it's the proverbial passing of the torch. Robert Downey Jr. to this young kid that's going to be playing Spider-Man. And you get Spider-Man movies for the next time that they reboot Iron Man to do something, because, like you said, and Robert Downey Jr., who knows? He could be sitting in a suit. He's not like he's doing physical stunts all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he can be
Correct. No, that's
in a
true.
suit for a
Now-
long time.
I think where they could go wrong is if they keep on replaying the same story over and over
Yeah.
and trying to do origin stories. If they keep doing that, yes, that's where it'll go wrong. But with comic books and storylines, there's so much more you can do. There's so much different paths you can take. There's not just 2 forks in the road now. There's 5, 6, 7, 10 forks in the road that you can go to, that it's going to lead you to different stories. So that's what I'm saying. There's just so many options
I don't
we
think
have
that's
here.
a fork anymore, man. A fork is like literally two things. You can't have
Oh,
10 forks.
is that like my caveat? Tim, is that like my caveat right
To
here?
be honest with you.
I'd like to
You
share
got a
something with you guys.
caveat.
I would like to share something with you guys. For instance, we are telling about the bubble and everything. My opinion is, okay, Mari, my opinion about doing or origin movies and everything, stories, I think it's good, but the point is, the story itself, the plot itself, it's, in my opinion, it's the really deal, it's what sells the comic book, what sells the movie. For instance, I'm a huge fan of Neil Gaiman. Okay, if you remember about Sandman, I don't know if you guys used it to read Sandman in the 90s, end of 80s, but Sandman was a huge success. And nowadays, I think everybody probably read Sandman, or if didn't read, probably is going to read Sandman. You see, the story was wonderfully written, and the sequence was really good. But although the artwork, to be honest with you, some artwork were like crap, it wasn't that much good, but the story was wonderful. So even if the actors don't perform very well or anything, but if the story is good, I think we're getting a lot of comic books and movies. As you said, if they start repeating some stories or some plots along the movies, it's going to be saturated. But if they were creative, the writers and the producers, we have decades, especially nowadays, they are bringing these new, middle and even small characters. But that's the point. Please do a very good plot. Do a very good story. If you have a good story, yeah, the artwork and the performance of the actors and everything, but the story is the most important thing. To sell a book or to sell a movie.
Let me give you an example. Rebirth. Yes, they go back to specific origins, but the storyline is new. It is right. Is it not? The
Yeah,
storyline
the
is
storyline is
good.
good.
It keeps you interested. It keeps you wanting to know more about what's going to happen next. And it takes back from an origin story all the way back to the Watchmen. You know, all the way back to Dr. Manhattan's Watchmen. And when they introduce the characters again, they're almost reintroducing the characters. We see that in Flash. We see that in not necessarily Batman, but we saw that in Flash, right? We saw that in the Green Lantern. We saw that in a few other of the Rebirth books. But then they just did an origin, but then they lead back to the story that intertwines back to the rest. So that's where Rebirth is going right on that. It still brings you the old characters without trying to do an origin story, but leads you to something that you want to know more about, what you're hoping and you're expecting, what you want to see next on the storyline. Am I smoking crack here? Or
No,
is
you're
anybody
not. No, you got it on the head.
You're doing well. And also you see, it's like, what if it's really if that really happened? Because they nowadays everybody read already. But Flash says to Batman, to Wally West, someone stolen 10 years of our reality. So think about it. So a decade or even a decade, so they can come back and restart the storyline. And that's, I think the plot is really good. And for instance, in Batman Superman vs Superman, I got the DVD this week. That scene that Bruce Wayne is waiting for the decryption of the file from Lex Luthor. He has that dream, and where someone appears in such a way. Oh, you were right, Bruce. Try to find us. You were right about fear him. And I think they tied the story of the comics on that movie. Because something is going to happen, and I think that to the movies itself, they are going to use that scene or that plot to bring some new movies and some very interesting story. I thought it was very nice.
I would not be surprised. I hate to sound like a broken record when it comes to this, but I will tell you, when we're talking about different storylines, I think DC is doing an amazing job, not with just the Rebirth, but the Injustice series as well, because it gives you such a different perspective and outlook on these characters, and that's why I think that on the Batman vs Superman, when you have the nightmare scene with those two, that is so Injustice. I mean, I don't know if you guys read the Injustice, but that is so the Injustice.
If they do
right
Injustice, if they somehow tease us that with another sort of well world off there, that Superman's a dictator and everything like that, I'm going, forget it. You think I drank it before? Man, I'll be downing Jack Daniels every 5 friggin' minutes if they do that, man. I'll be so pumped for that one. Oh,
because you got, I mean, look at it. You had the parademons. You had Superman being the antagonist right there. You had Batman. I mean, so that right there spoke Injustice. So how are they going to incorporate Injustice with the Batman vs Superman Justice League universe we're here? Besides eventually maybe leading off to a future movie where may end up to, I don't know. We can't say.
That's got to be with Flash.
And may not at all. It may not at all. It may just be.
Affleck is doing with Batman movie. It's a totally original story. He's not pulling from anything. So I mean, that's part of the thing of being a bubble that could burst or rehashing of stories. Is no, you can make totally different. Just like the parallel can be Disney taking over Star Wars. Disney said, "Hey, man, we could have Star Wars movies till the end of time. It doesn't matter. We can keep on. There's enough characters, or we can create new characters." Same with DC and Marvel do it all the time. They can create a new character. Look at Robbie Reyes. He was just created like 3-4 years ago, and he's already going to be an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, it's all these new characters.
If you're not into DC, right, and the Injustice leads you into so many characters at one time. I recommend reading Injustice because it introduces you to basically all the characters all at once, and it kind of makes you want to read more about the characters. Now, don't think that it kind of brings you into the DC Universe characters as we know now, because that's just a totally alternate universe right there. But it does introduce the characters, and it makes you kind of want to know more about these characters. Dr. Fate, Harley Quinn, Green Arrow, and so much so much more. But there's more. But hey,
every season, every year, just the caveat on your thing with Injustice.
Right,
caveat on Injustice, 'cause I've been preaching that book since day friggin' one. Every year is a different plot against Superman. You have one plot with Batman. You have one plot against the Green Lantern Corps. You have one plot against the Mystical and Dr. Fate and everything like that. You have one against the Greek gods. I mean, it is just a great. If you're a fan of the game, and especially Injustice 2 coming out next year, cheap and dudes, gals, everybody, just go and get the trade paperbacks. Read it. You already played the game. Read the story. Read what happens when the Superman kills the Joker and becomes this powerful dictator, and how Batman and everybody's going to stop him. You will get to know almost every DC character throughout the course of the whole story. Even some of them that came out of nowhere and fit perfectly. It's like, oh my God, I remember that guy. That's awesome that they brought him into this story. And, you know, it's just been great. Okay, that's it. Go.
Well, guys, you know, real quick, we've hit that a little bit over 2-hour mark on our show. So we're going to do the final thoughts and shout-outs. We're going to end the show here because, you know, I hate to keep it on going a little bit more than what it is. But with that said, I want to go ahead and start with my boy Alex. Final thoughts and shout-outs for you, brother.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. It was wonderful to be with you again. Anything on comics and trade paperbacks, you know, hardcovers and original art, this kind of thing, grading comics, if you need, or just let me know. I'll be more than glad to help you guys be part of this community. Finally, I found some place where I can be with guys like you. And great week for you guys. I'll be very, very swamped at the college, but great week for all of us.
You know, Alex, if you guys don't know, Alex, of course, is in the Canadian area and everything. And my understanding, Alex, is that you don't have a lot of people to talk nerd stuff, geek stuff, to when it comes to comic books and things like that. So, yeah, I know you're very excited to be able to come on here and just discuss. And one thing about Comic Book Fanatics is not only do we enjoy sharing, but we love learning as well. So I learned so much because we don't ever know everything about every character. I don't read every comic book there is. I don't know about every character or comic book there is. But the wonderful thing about it is, like, for instance, Tim, he's freaking savvy when it comes to Doctor Strange. You know, Marky, he's savvy when it comes to Aquaman and Green Lantern. You know, so it's like everybody learns from each other on this show, and we're able to just help each other in any way. And then that's our whole goal about when we do Comic Talk, when we have the Facebook group, is so that we can draw off each other and learn. So I'm glad you actually could come here and just be a part of this community. So thank you so much, Alex.
Okay.
Thank you. TiVo, Tim the Man, what's going on, brother? Final thoughts and shots out for you, man.
I am sweating my fucking balls off, man. I need to find a fan in this room. There's no AC in this fucking house. It's old. I am sweating, but you know what? Maybe I lost some weight. You know, shit. If you notice, I already had a wardrobe change. I got my tank top on, and I ain't wearing no pants, so I may stand up right for you guys right now. But
no.
All right. Wait for the get. We'll get. Wait. This is for the female fanatics force. So thanks for having me on. I was just shooting the shit. I'm gonna try to do a show on Saturday when I'm back in town next weekend. I did a little one last week, but I may do it. I'm trying to get home on time because I figure I can do it now that I have this office set up. I could probably do our Thursday show, but it'd be a little bit late. And I found a new female co-host. Don't hate. I found her on YouTube doing a live chat, and she's really good. So she's at San Diego Comic-Con right now, and she said she'd love to do the show, so I'll maybe bring her in, so take the hosting duties off me, and I can give her the thing, and she can run it like Marty used to do, so I could just sit back, relax.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. That's all I got to say. And remember, it's not you. It's not me. We are comic book fanatics.
No, you didn't, man. No, you didn't. Tim, thanks for coming on the show. And I would tell you, dude, happy birthday once again. And it was great to have you on the show, man. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Final thoughts and shout-outs for you, brother.
Wait, I'm still just getting over that last shout-out.
Oh, my God, Tim.
No, that was great. That was great. Final thoughts and shout-outs. First of all, shout-outs to everybody on the panel. Mr. West coming in. everybody else coming in, just talking everything. Everybody in the chat. Oh, everybody. We got the New York Warriors in there and everybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, all those guys, everybody with their shows out there. Of course, Tim with Lords of the Roundtable, Lords of the Long Box. And, dude, you want to go late? I'm a night owl. So if you just text me, I'll go on late with you, man. I don't give a shit.
That's nice.
So, other than that, yeah, man, it's just been great. What a week. And, hell, anybody who didn't see Star Trek, go fucking see it. It was a great fucking film. You've seen my review. I enjoyed it. So that about it. Everybody, peace out. Until next week.
The mayor, Jeff Johnson, the honorable mayor. Go ahead, brother.
Oh man, great show, man. You know what? I could have gone for another hours. There's like there's so much to talk about and not enough time to talk about it.
I feel like we didn't touch everything, man. I feel like I'm rushing the the final thoughts and shout outs. I feel like we just didn't touch everything, but 2 hours went by, man. So
I know. So shout out to everybody in the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Happy birthday to Swamp Ass over there. Appreciate it. It's just great to be on the show, man. So thank you.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for coming on. Great having you. My boy Edwin, great appearance coming on the show, brother. Final thoughts and shout outs for you, man.
Thanks for having me. Nah, it was fun as always. Shouts to everybody on the panel, and shouts to everybody who's on the Facebook page. I think the Facebook page is really fun. In case you're wondering why is Edwin posting on everything, it's because I have it coming up first as far as every time somebody posts something. But, it's fun. And happy birthday to Tim. And shout out to JLS Comics. And as always, it's a pleasure to be on board. So thanks for having me.
Awesome, brother.
Guys, last thing. So Ray, his wife's grandpa passed away, I guess, if I could see there. And just let's think about that and get some support, maybe. It's a pity because he was supposed to be here with us now, and it's always a bad thing losing someone that we love.
Well, Ray's got to take care of some personal stuff right now. I know he's got some family issues going on, but our hearts and prayers are out to you. And guys, I will tell you, first of all, thank you to all the panel members. Thank you to all the people that are in the chat group. We had so many people on there today.
It feels like a trap sometimes.
It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! Hey, guys, just a wonderful Comic Talk episode. As I mentioned, I feel like there's so much more to talk about, but we always got next week. We can always talk more about next week because I know more things are going to come out. Guys, Alex, as far as Alex goes, I would recommend if you do a live show, add Alex to your live show. He's a vast of knowledge. He's got his own comic shop. He's very interested in wanting to just reach out and get to know the comic book YouTube and Facebook and the comic book community and just be part of that. So thank you so much for coming on, Alex. Tim, it's been a while since we did Lords of the Roundtable, man. So just let us know when we're going to do Lords of the Roundtable again, man. I'd love to have that because on Lords of the Roundtable we talk about speculation, we talk about market watch, we talk about different TV shows, movies, comic books, just things to look out for. It's a more knowledgeable and just a more type of show that we just get information from, and I love that show, and I love doing that. It's a little bit different from Comic Talk, where we just kind of chime in, and we learn different things as well. But hope we can get one of those shows again, and whoever your co-host is, I'm looking forward to seeing her. Right?
Of course.
Hey man,
Don't let her cosplay as Harley Quinn.
Don't scare her off like all the other females that have been on your show.
I know, Marty. Jesus Christ. You went through like 5 of them already. It's
no, nothing like that, man.
Sexual harassment.
No, it's just like, here's the new co-host again. Okay, and then one day goes by. Here's the new one.
No, that's enough of that, Marky. That's enough of that, okay?
Pick up line. You want to see my Captain America outfit?
This show's gonna go another hour. We keep on.
You want to see my Infinity Rock?
You want to see
man, it's probably very sweat. I don't like that.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming on
Okay,
and checking Comic Talk out. If you watched it live or if you're catching it on the flip side, once again, thank you to everybody out there who are supporting us, supporting the show, supporting the Facebook group. If you want to be a part of the Facebook group, all you got to do is just request. Send us a request for an invite onto the comic book Facebook group, and everybody's more than welcome, unless you're a scammer or unless you're one of those people that are trying to make money based off of some
what was his name?
whatever they. But hey guys, thank you so much once again. Another great episode of Comic Talk. Looking forward to next weekend because I want to talk more comics. I want to talk more movies and TV shows, anything nerd related, any fandom related. You guys have fun out there. You guys take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you guys soon. Everybody, peace out. Say hi to everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Later.